Hello and welcome to the Graveyard Media Podcast, episode 45 for the week of June 18th, 2018. I'm your host as always, Saine Grey. With me is Dalsson. You're supposed to say hi.
Hi!
And Thel.
I'm looking at the pictures of, like, the difference between the Turok on GameCube, like, image and Ripley's Believe It or Not Dinosaurs. And they're basically the same image. Did Ripley's Believe It or Not is Turok? Put your comments and questions in the comments section, because I don't know and have no answers for this question. Ripley, if you're there, I don't believe it. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure he makes this shit up on the fly. We can't stop him. He's too powerful.
If Ripley, if you're there, I don't believe it.
I have been to almost all of your fucking museums across the country somehow.
You know what? I know who can solve this. Jonathan Frakes. He'll tell us whether it's fact or fiction.
I don't even know who that is.
You know exactly who that
Riker
is.
from Star Trek.
He probably fucked everyone you've ever met. I'm still using the Star Wars Christmas cup. I didn't even know where we got this.
Oh yeah!
Really, believe it or not, give it to me? Yeah, mine's still broken. I still need to get fucking glue for that.
My mom used to date a guy who looked a lot like Riker from Star Trek.
Good. Good taste.
Hold on a sec.
It very well may have been Riker from Star Trek. Dalsson Sain's here. Let's jerk off around. Like,
alright, so anyway, yeah.
Jerk off around in a big circle.
Let's talk about how great Cisco is.
I was gonna start talking about how great Path of Exile was, but
alright, we're gonna talk about some of the games and movies we've checked out this week, except we're gonna keep it short because we're gonna dedicate a larger portion of the show than usual to E3.
Oh yeah, we should fuck are. By which I mean, I'm gonna start, but I have done legitimately nothing because of E3 and also the Incredibles video I worked on. I mean, I've been rewatching BoJack Horseman, but I mean, if you want to know what I thought about that, you can just say its opinion hasn't changed.
Just go watch the first 20 or so podcasts that we've
that we talk about BoJack for about 12 years, and that's all I've fucking done. I ain't done shit.
Have you not seen Incredibles 2?
I have not seen Incredibles 2 yet. I'm probably gonna see it tomorrow.
Oh, I expected you to have seen it.
Did you see it, Saine?
I thought I was going to, but I don't know.
I did see it, yeah.
Well, why don't we ask about that?
Wait, hold on. I did play a little bit of Vampire, and I don't really know what there is to say. It's got some like Dark Souls combat, like really light Dark Souls combat. You can eat people and do vampire stuff. I got past the first couple of the first level and actually got to the hospital, so I don't really have all that much to say because I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, I heard it ramps up later on, and it's kind of one of those things based on how you play, things change. Except I heard sort of that.
That's what it said.
In some ways, the choices that you make punish you for making specific choice.
Yeah,
so it almost makes you have to play one way, even though there's choices. It's kind of like the most optimal way is to play in this specific way, which is kind of dumb.
Yeah,
it kind of defeats the purpose of that.
Well, here's the thing. The game actively told me that on the loading screen, right? It told me specifically what the thing was that it expected me to do.
I think it's more than just that one thing. I think there are other ways that it also punishes you for playing in particular ways, but I don't.
Well, anyway, about it, what I did was I decided to do that, but take it as literally as possible and see how far I could go with that philosophy in mind. And because it's a very specific thing, I suppose we're not like getting into spoilers about what this thing is, even though it's something that.
I mean, I don't care if you want to spoil it. You were not beating around the bush first. So.
Wait, spoilers about what game?
Vampire.
Okay, so Vampire. It's not really spoilers because I haven't even gotten very. One of the things that it says on the loading screen is like the less people you kill, the harder the game will be.
What?
Like as in the less people like you eat, there are like prompts and stuff. So what I did is I took this as literally as possible and ran past all of the combat.
I see.
I'm a doctor, man. And there's going to be a video about that. This is going to be the next video I put up.
So I guess this is a minor spoiler.
Okay.
But this was also like really early on in the game, and I had watched this on a Twitch stream. So this is like this is not me playing. I don't really know that much about it, but it was like a cutscene where it's like a flashback to the main character like trying to patch up a dude who was like really hurt and like shot and stuff. So he's like patching up this dude, and he's like, okay, this guy will live. And then he picks up a gun and he's like, killing is easier.
Time to kill!
Or something like
that.
that.
Yeah, that was like one of the first things that happens. Yeah.
And so I'm just like, wow, so much for the Hippocratic Oath. Holy shit.
Yeah, this man's like, it's like, don't worry. It's like, we need to get out of here. He's gone. The enemies are coming. It's like, no, I can still patch this guy up.
I can still save him.
Patch this guy up. It's World War I, and I can still patch this guy up. No, we need to go. Okay, he's patched up. Time to kill some Germans.
It was kind of weird. It was like,
Yeah,
in a vacuum, maybe it feels like bad writing, but I don't know enough about the context to really know one way or the other.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I don't think that field medics necessarily had to take the Hippocratic Oath.
Oh no, it's not that.
Not
it's just
that,
the way that his philosophy seemed really odd. It just seemed really odd
like
that he went from one to the other like that.
Like a sort of thing. Like there's a point in the very beginning of the game, one of the first things that you do is you are pit up against a bunch of guys who are shooting at you with shotguns, and like you run around like, I mean you no harm, I don't want to hurt you, but the game expects you to beat the shit out of them and kill them with your vampire powers. I feel like this was written in there to be like, okay, this guy is not. He kills people that are shooting at him, so he can make decisions about like eating an innocent man versus like eating these guys, and it's fine, and you can be like, okay, I'll do this, but I won't do that, like so that you don't feel like it's a little bit hypocritical when I'm running around murdering all these dudes who are shooting at me, but but I refuse to like eat this like horrible bastard man who is actually bleeding out over here.
Or you just be a vampire and eat everybody.
Alternatively, I completely ignored the cutscene and just didn't attack all the people who were attacking me anyway.
How hard is the game when you run past every bit of combat available?
Well, I almost died a couple times in the very beginning of the game, but you know.
I think that's one of those things that's hard to say until you've played more of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess keep us updated as you play more of Vampire.
Oh yeah, I will.
All right.
Yeah.
I've played some games, but I don't know if I want to talk about them because there's a lot of other shit to talk about. So.
Well, why don't you glance over them briefly?
Okay, let me.
Like game name, good, bad, why?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Actually, basically all of them are. Okay. I'll start with Tangledeep.
Okay.
Tangledeep was a roguelike. Like a traditional roguelike, actually, turn-based, grid-based roguelike. It's not bad. It just feels. I don't want to say easy because I don't think that's the right word. It's not necessarily easy, and I think people could fail at it. I just think that it's very it's not super random. So you are kind of more in control of the environment than you are in most other roguelikes.
Right.
And I don't mean like literally in control of the environment. I just mean that in terms of the abilities that you kind of have and the way that you can manipulate enemies, it feels like you have a lot of control over what's happening at all times. And there are moments where I've almost died because of specific situations, and I had to dig through my pack to see, okay, it will literally any item I have help me right now. So I've had moments like that, but
which is a classic roguelike feeling.
Right, but it by and large, those moments haven't come up that much, and I've played for 5 hours and I've not died.
I see.
Granted, I tend to be better at roguelikes than I would say most people are, maybe.
Right. I can attest to that. He's not just bragging.
Yeah, and this isn't me stroking my ego, but
he and I will start playing a roguelike at like the same time, and I'll be like, oh, I think I'm doing pretty good. I've only had to restart 4 or 5 times, and Saine's like, what? I'm sorry, I'm still on the same run.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something about the strategy of it just works in my brain somehow. I
I
don't know.
think you slow down and actually like think about stuff. Whereas when I play a roguelike, I'm like, oh, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup has this button that you can use to just automatically explore the floor. Hell yeah, spam the shit out of that.
So yeah, I don't know. Tangledeep, I like it. I actually do like it quite a bit because their class system is interesting.
Right.
I haven't had a ton of experience messing with it because, like I said, I haven't died. So I think some of those features you don't even see until after you've unlocked some of the other classes, and then you can kind of mix and match traits a little bit. But I haven't seen any of that because, like I said, I've literally not died in that game yet, and I almost want to die just so that I can check some of that out, but that feels like so against the roguelike feel to me. Like I don't want to die on purpose. That just, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, the goal is to survive as long as you can.
Right.
Well, is there an end to it? Because you could just reach the end.
I'm not entirely sure. There is a story though.
Yeah.
And actually one of the things I like about Tangledeep is it has really good art.
Yeah.
Like, of all of the roguelikes, like traditional roguelikes that have come out that have had like tiles, I guess, like built-in tiles, this is probably one of the better looking ones. I don't know. I feel like this is pretty comparable to
Dungeons of Dreadmore.
Yeah, I think this is pretty comparable to Dungeons of Dreadmore in terms of like difficulty. If anything, it's a little bit easier than Dreadmore, but
yeah, Dreadmore could get pretty hard if you did not just cheese your character to stack up one thing.
I feel like roguelikes are sort of meant to cheese the game though, so I don't even feel bad doing it.
The game cheeses you.
Well, and they do things on purpose that like they'll throw 200 enemies at you occasionally.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any monster zoos in this game, but I have had moments where there was like, okay, shit's getting real. Like everything on this floor is going to kill you if you're not careful. Like everything is hard now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If it's like, if you're trying to get into roguelikes, this is probably a good place to start. This and Dreadmore are probably like kind of on par, and I would.
If you're trying to get into like true roguelikes,
right?
If you like,
I would probably recommend.
Like,
I'd probably recommend Tangledeep, or Dungeons of Dreadmore over the Pit.
Froggy Wood, the Pit. Oh, the Pit's fucking impossible.
The Pit is really hard. It's satisfying, but it's also very difficult. And then there's some other ones that are, like I don't even think of Sproggenwood, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that is such a minimalist thing that I like. That's a phone game to me.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like it's better to go into something like this or Dreadmore.
Right, and it actually has a straightforward narrative, unlike a lot of other roguelikes. Mm-hmm. So if that is a thing that holds you back to most roguelikes, that is a thing that is in this game, which is kind of cool.
Most roguelikes narrative are, you have to go in here and find the Orb of Zot. You did it! And that's it. That's the whole story.
Yeah.
This one has like backstory and lore, and it actually has a decent number of features. It has like a pet system, it has like an ally system, it has stuff in it. It has like cooking, it has like crafting, it has quite a bit of stuff in it. It even has a feature that's similar to Disgaia's item dungeons.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, you can do like an item dungeon to upgrade a item, which is actually kind of cool. They're easier than Disgaea dungeons, but that's because Disgaea item dungeons were fucking hard. So
yeah, Disgaea is just fucking impossible. Understandable.
So I also played a game called Stone Shard, which was another roguelike. This game. What?
I realized there was another game I played that we have all played and that we'll talk about.
Yeah, that's on my list here. I got it.
Okay, cool.
Which this is already going to be a normal amount of time that we're going to talk about this, but that's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
So Stone Shard is another roguelike I played. It's Stone Shard Prologue. It is a kind of a preview to their actual game, and it's free on Steam. So if you're interested, you can play it for free. I probably would recommend against it, though, because I don't think it's I don't think it's done. It doesn't feel very done. In the time that I played it, which was less than an hour, so like probably 40 minutes or something is probably what I played of it. I had to restart it like 4 or 5 times because I broke the tutorial by going out of sequence.
Oh no.
And it's just by like, I didn't do one thing that they wanted me to do, so I like made it so I couldn't do other things because I already did those things because I didn't do it in the right order. Stuff like that.
Right.
There was one point where like right at the beginning, they give you a key that can open a door, and I didn't read the key. Like, in fairness, I didn't read it, and it said it could be used one time, but I opened a cell door with it. There was nothing inside, and then I couldn't go through the main door because I didn't realize that that key only opened one door. So I had to restart that. This one was a little bit harder. I did die in some of the later dungeons, or like later. It's kind of weird because it has a narrative, and like the tutorial part shows the narrative as it goes forward, and then you get to a point where you're now in the roguelike part of it.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like, go to the next floor is like the tutorial objective. And like, if you die, you get restarted to the beginning of that section, not restarted to the beginning of the tutorial, which is nice. But
yeah.
I don't know. It's free, so if you want to try it out, go ahead. But there are better uses of your time.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Fair enough.
It is kind of neat because it has like sort of a Diablo-esque feel when it had, you have your inventory in one pane that opens up, and then
which is what really interested me in it. Needless to say, I love fucking Diablo.
Right. That being said, like, it is definitely a rogue-like, so you don't.
Yeah.
It's not dropping items all over the place, and it's not dropping.
And it doesn't have like the same combat flow. As
right,
Diablo,
and it doesn't have like, it does have stats, but they're not like. If it's comparable to a Diablo, it's most comparable to Diablo 1. Diablo 1 was turn-based.
Diablo 1 was kind of an iteration on Rogue.
Yeah.
So
right.
Oh, but yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I am still interested in the full release, but they need to work on it quite a bit if this is where they're starting from.
Right.
So
speaking of, do you have any more games?
The only game is the game that we've all played.
I have one more before we get to that. Speaking of, they really need to work on it before they start.
Uh-oh.
I played a game just now called Exoplanet First Contact. What interested me in it was that they had. Okay, so like this was a key that I was offered a key for it, so I was like, it doesn't look great, I'll think about it later. And I didn't think about it for a few weeks, and then I went to the Steam store page, and the reviews were mostly positive. A lot of the reviews like that I actually read said that it was kind of like, it was really janky, but like they can see where it will be a fully fleshed out game, and I totally see what they're saying after having played it for a couple hours. So like it's an RPG with like heavy like dialogue trees and stuff like that. It's like almost like a CRPG, except instead of CRPG combat, it's like third person action shooting, right? But a lot of the
I've seen this game before.
Yeah, so like a lot of the stuff is like going through dialogue, taking quests, going to the quests, and blah blah blah. It's like definitely a traditional RPG. Now, the criticism I have of the RPG mechanics is that they are so absolute basic, bare bones bullshit. The entirety of the RPG mechanics amount to you level up, put a point into health, stamina, or like Skyrim, right? Health, stamina, or energy, right?
Okay.
Except. Unlike Skyrim, they don't have anything else to supplement it. You level up and all you can do is put 10 points into one of those 3 things. That is it. That's the extent of leveling up. That's all it does for you. Now, they do have a skill system that isn't in any menu. Like, I noticed while I was like mining a rock, it said your mining skill increased to blank. So I think that they are probably iterating on that, because what you have to know about this game is that it is on patch 9 and has been in early access for like a few months.
Really? Because it says the release date was 2016.
I think the early access. Oh, really? Okay. Well, then it's gonna been in early access for a couple of years, I guess.
Yeah,
But anyway, it's on patch 9, so it's very bare bones, not finished at all. There is only one map, and you can see where zone lines are. It'll kill you if you try to go to them. So essentially, it's at this point more of a demo, a test demo than anything else.
Right.
But I can definitely see where like they have pretty good voice acting for the main character. They have really good animations for the main character, which is surprising because all of the other animations in the game are like trash or just not there. Like there's a bug creature that you can control, kind of like a Ratchet and Clank mini game where you play as Clank. It has a hopping animation that is literally, it just walks and floats up into the air.
Oh, that's always great to
seen those.
see.
That's always fun. Exactly. So of course there's no reason to use it other than the one quest that shows off the feature, but I think that the game has a lot of potential. It looks like they actually know what they're doing when they're putting together a game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can tell that the developers are actually putting time and thought into this. So it's pretty cool.
It's pretty early on though.
It's pretty early on. I would not buy it for the $20 price point at this point, but I would keep an eye on it to see what they're doing.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the last game that all of us played.
Okay.
Quake Champions.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
What I'm gonna get out of the way some of the stuff that I don't like about this game real quick. I kind of don't like a lot of the monetization stuff, especially if it's going to have like free to play stuff, because all of the champions are really expensive if you don't like buy the $38 version.
Well, it's 20.
No, it's on sale for 20. It's 30.
It's on sale for 20 now. Yeah,
it's normally $30 though.
I didn't know
it's got like loot boxes, and the loot boxes are not exactly the best ones I've ever seen. But
in fairness with the loot boxes though, well, I guess the highest tier of loot box is paid, but 2 of the 3 of the loot boxes are in-game currency.
I actually like the loot box system, not because of I don't like the loot box system, but I like the cosmetic system, right? Because all of your you get drops out of loot boxes that are like pieces of costumes, and you can mix and match your costumes. I think that's really cool because you can build a cool looking character, right? So I wanted to make a note about that. The loot box system itself is weird, but
so I don't know. I don't mind the loot boxes, honestly. But it's getting to the point where I'm starting to get irritated with loot boxes in general. Like I wouldn't say these loot boxes are any worse than, and actually I think they're quite a bit better, if anything, than something like Overwatch. Because like Dalsson said, there's so much mixing and matching, and like a lot of it is very superficial, like colors for pieces or guns.
I'm pretty sure all of it is superficial.
Well, I mean in terms of like skin changes, they're very like just the color,
or very light.
Yeah. There's something that there are definitely like costume pieces that are bigger things, but a lot of it is just like colors and stuff, which is fine.
One of the other things you can get out of them is runes, which are essentially like challenges to do. So like you might get a BJ Blazkowicz rune, and it'll tell you to kill 10 people with a rocket launcher.
Right, and then if you do 20 runes from the same set, then that unlocks a special colored shader.
Yeah. Which is cool.
So I think there's a lot of that, and it feels like while there are more loot boxes in this game than in Overwatch,
and like we said, and we didn't really explain it, there are sort of tiers of loot box. Like in Overwatch loot boxes, you get 4 things for every loot box. In this game, there is a backpack that gives you 1 thing, a chest that gives you 2, and a reliquary that gives you 3.
But I think you earn them quite a bit faster. And even though
you earn them off on every level up, like on Overwatch.
No, well, you get one for every level, but you also get favor when you complete a thing, and if you aren't saving for a character, which is how you have to do it if you have the free trial. But if you actually own the game, the $30 base price of the game, and you have all, like, if you buy the base price of the game, which is $30, you get all of the characters. And I think while it's in beta, you get all of the characters forever. But I don't know. Maybe they're changing that. Maybe they're not. I'm not sure.
I think they're keeping that.
I
so
hope
far
so.
As I know. I don't see any reason why they would change it.
Now here's something I want to note, because this is what really
let me finish my
turned me
thought
off.
though.
Okay, sure.
So, like, while it's in beta, you get all of those characters, and from then the loot boxes are kind of on top of that. So you get pieces for all of the different characters, which if you are not saving that favor for unlocking characters, if you have the full game, then pretty much all you use that favor for is loot boxes. And so you actually earn those loot boxes pretty quickly if you own the game. So if you were to buy Overwatch, you get one per level up, but if you buy for the same price, essentially, this game, then you get all of the characters just like in Overwatch, but because of the favor, you're getting loot boxes more often as well. Even though the loot boxes are smaller incremental pieces of it, it still feels like you're getting stuff faster. So, Now, what were you gonna say, Dalsson?
That is, you mentioned get all the characters, right? Now, this is something I wanted to say, because this is basically what turned me off of Quake Champions, even when Thel started playing it, and Thel gave it his endorsement. Yeah. Thel doesn't fucking endorse anything, because he hates everything.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, this is great. I'm like, I still, like, okay, if I want to play Quake, I'll just go play Quake Live, or I'll go play Unreal Tournament, which I already have. Like, why should I buy a hero shooter that has the guise of Quake? And Thel's like, no, it's not like that. Some guys have some things that basically everybody has one ability they can activate every once in a while that'll get you a couple kills. And I'm like, no, that's stupid. Like you're sitting here telling me that the whole point of the Quake, then why is the Quake shooting, then why even have the hero mechanic in it in the first place? And it's like, I like playing the game, I don't get that feeling at all. It's not like, oh no, this fucker killed me because he was able to shoot acid at me. It's like, this fucker killed me because he was able to hit me with a rocket launcher better than I was able to hit him with the rocket launcher. And that's it. And it's like, sometimes I'll get vomited on, but
yeah, like from what I've played,
like it does not feel like
from what I've played, if I were to get like say 25 kills in a game, I would say maybe like 5 or 6 of those, so like a fifth, is like special ability kills. And the only other thing that the other thing that it kind of changes between characters is you get passives, and their health, armor, and movement speed varies in kind of 3 sets. So you have light, medium, heavy characters, and then there's passives and actives on top of that. But it doesn't feel like anything is super. It feels like they do alter how you play each character, but none of it feels like it is so overwhelming that it's the reason why you're killing people. It always feels like you're killing people because you're aiming.
It doesn't ever feel like you are getting like it doesn't feel like this game is going to even like be able to have that big of a balancing issue. Like, yeah, they'll have to fine tune some stuff maybe, but it's like, for example, Doom guy can double jump, right? And then the rookie guy, the Quake man that you get, has a passive that reduces his self-damage by 75%. So when you think about it from terms of mobility, Doom guy can just double jump over something, or Quake man can just rocket jump. It's the same mobility. It just, you do it in a different way, you know?
And there are other things, like one character goes faster the more you run in a straight line. There's another character that moves faster when you bunny hop. So like when you're jumping over and over again, and in one direction you go faster. So each character has different ways. Bunny hopping
does increase your speed anyway, depending on like if you jump down a staircase.
And actually, that's one of the cool things that I think. That's one of the cool things about this game. It feels like a lot of the characters' passives kind of help you or encourage you to play in a way that will make you more effective on every character. It's just this character gets an added bonus, so it makes it easier for you to take advantage of it.
Like in Quake, bunny hopping preserves your momentum. On that particular character, bunny hopping increases your momentum. So it's just the same. It's the same deal. It's that all of the passives mesh really well with the feeling of Quake that we've known for 25 years. You know, That's what I think it is. They just mesh really well with Quake in general.
And
I
then
was
certain
so
characters will be
apprehensive.
better on certain maps, for sure. Like the character that Bunny Hops also is immune to acid, so on particular maps that have a lot of acid on it, it makes you able to walk everywhere without worrying about it.
Or hop everywhere, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
depending on how the divots in the ground, you might not be able to do that.
Oh,
but...
and one more thing. We've already gotten into some of the really good stuff about this game. One more, like, just one little last bad thing that we actually didn't have a problem with because we mostly played on, like, the free weekend. If you are new to Quake, the matchmaking is not super good. You're gonna get your butt kicked a lot.
Yeah, if you don't like arena shooters, or if you
and if you don't like arena shooters, don't play this game because it's just an arena.
Right, but if you don't play arena shooters, and I'm not talking about Overwatch. I'm talking about Quake, Unreal, those kind of arena tribes. Yeah, those are the ones that you kind of need to have transferable skills from.
We've also, this is another concern I have about the game. We've been mainly playing on the free weekend, but that's about to end, and I'm really worried that the matchmaking is going to disappear.
I don't know about that because anybody that we are playing with from the free weekend will still have the game.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes, and I think it got a big bump from E3, but I'm still kind of worried about that because I don't know. Like a lot of people probably tried it, but I don't know how much people are going to latch onto this because I really love arena shooters, so I want to play more of them. But we saw with some other games like
Unreal Tournament, the new one.
Well, the new one. Well, I feel like that one died because it was never finished and Epic forgot about it. But I'd say more like
Lawbreakers.
Yeah, Lawbreakers was a good example.
Like the biggest problem with Lawbreakers is that it wasn't free after the free weekend.
Yeah. But I felt like even when we were playing during the free weekend, towards the end of the free weekend, people weren't even playing it then. So it was already starting to fall off before the end of the free weekend.
And the thing is, before E3, Quake Champions was like I was able to find games, but sometimes it would take me like 8 minutes to queue into a game. It was before E3, and now
it takes like seconds. I can't even sort through. I had 100 loot boxes to open at one point, and I think it took me like 50 games to open them in between games. Like,
and we usually play like really late at night, so which is like
way off prime time. Yeah,
way off prime time.
10 minutes ago, Steam charts said that 9,000 people were playing Quake Champions, so there is a decent amount.
It's decent, but it's a lot lower than some games for sure.
Yeah, well, sure, but I mean, for a arena shooter or like a multiplayer focused game, that's decently healthy.
Yeah, it's a healthy enough pool of players to play with.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right.
Yeah. And one of the things about this game that I found, I was the first one to give this game a try because it was like $5 for like the pack that you can get for free on the free weekend. I was like, I really want to play a good arena shooter. There was Midair that's probably fucking dead now, and nobody remembers it because it was like an indie arena shooter that no one remembered, and also had like a level up system like the old Tribes that everyone hated. And so that's gonna be. I want to play a gosh darn arena shooter, and this is like $5. You know what? I don't even care. I'm gonna pay $5 and be able to play this. I got into the game, and I was telling these guys about it. I was like, I don't know about some of the monetization stuff. It's kind of, and like the matchmaking is bad. Dalsson, you're going to be putting a match against someone who's going to kick your butt. I don't know if I can like really recommend it, but I'm having a lot of fun playing it. It's fun as hell.
And then it went on free weekend in E3.
And then these two played it, and they loved it.
Well, Saine played it first, played like 5 matches and bought the character pack, and I was like, that's dumb, Saine. I'm just gonna unlock all the characters by myself. And then I played like 5 matches and bought the character pack.
Because so full disclosure, I probably played for 2 hours and then unlocked all the characters because I like the game that much.
It's very
and
good.
I don't want this to be another Lawbreakers where I could have been one of the people who just decided to buy the game. I feel like the part of the problem with Lawbreakers was not the game; it was that nobody was sure if anyone else was going to buy the game, so nobody bought the game.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people had it out for Cliff Bleszinski.
He is a character. Let's just leave it at that.
That's kind of the problem. Yeah.
He's
He's a character in Lawbreakers. TM. You can play as Cliff Bleszinski. Oh no, wait, no, you can't.
He's kind of like Todd Howard. Like a lot of people have
Yeah.
this built-up idea of what and who he is, but like anytime you actually see him talk, it's not that bad, unless it's Twitter, in which case people are not real people on Twitter.
People don't know how to fucking like.
People don't know how to interact with each other on
It's,
Twitter.
and it's weird.
Twitter's a cesspool.
And it's so weird to me. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been on the internet since I was in legitimately elementary school and been like learning how to fucking interact with people on the internet since then. But I look at these people, I look at like all of these scandals with all these people, I'm just sitting there, how the fuck did this man fuck up so bad? Like,
This is
how
what
did this
happens
man
when
not
normies get the
realize
internet.
This was a problem.
This is what happens when normies get the internet.
I
They get
guess.
problems like this.
But I mean, it's like the JonTron thing. Like he said some stuff. Some people attacked him for it, and instead of either like not doing anything or just like apologizing and then continuing to move forward, he then
just,
attacked those people and
He
it
just like
snowballed,
grabbed
and it's
the
like,
biggest shovel he could, dug until he could afford a backhoe,
He like
and
doubled
then bought a
down and then
backhoe to
tripled
keep
down.
digging his own
Yeah.
grave.
and it's like, my dude,
Yeah.
how do you not like? Listen, I understand that you want to stand to your principles, but you have a career
I think my problem with
that
Cliff
relies on these
Bleszinski-
motherfuckers.
So the thing about Cliff Bleszinski is I don't think he
Yeah.
ever like said something super controversial. He's just
Yeah,
very
yeah.
defensive about
Yeah.
his work. So
Yeah,
he was
people attack his
people
video
were
games,
attacking
so-
him in his video games, so he was like kind of replied in childish ways. But like
Yeah.
that's not the same as calling people like the N-word. So let's just
Yeah,
clear that up. He didn't
Oh,
go
yeah,
that
sure,
far.
straight up. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Cliff Bleszinski, so far as I know, is no racist.
He was
so,
more like a Phil Fish light type of deal.
Yeah,
He was-
yeah.
He like
Not nearly as bad as that man.
he
though.
like acted like an asshole on Twitter, but the big difference is he likes video games and didn't
And
want to
Phil
just make
Fish-
money off of a video game
Yeah.
because he thought that
Despite
gamers were
despite
morons who
releasing
buy anything.
Radical Heights.
Yeah. yeah.
Well, you know, but Radical Heights had some unique things going for it, unlike Fortnite and PUBG.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's entirely fair, but I don't want to get in an argument about those games too.
Fair enough.
But anyway, point is, we're super biased against arena shooters because I think we all love them. And Quake Champions is definitely an arena shooter. If you were really wary about like the hero stuff, not that big a deal.
It's
Oh,
it's really not that big a deal. Take it from somebody like I heard about Quake Champions, and after Quake Live, I wanted to play it, but knowing about the arena shooter thing straight up made me not even give it a try for ages.
Yeah.
Like, how long has it been in development? Like,
Oh, I think it's only been
a
out for
year?
a year.
A year or two.
yeah.
The
So
thing is,
age.
It's,
I
it's
was
still
on
in
the
early
same,
access, though. Let's be clear.
I was on the same like plane as you until I went into the Steam comments, and all the Steam comments were like, "Hey, the arena shooter part, the arena shooter's the big important thing. The hero stuff doesn't even matter. It's not imbalanced, and it's fine.
Yeah, it
It's-
really doesn't.
Whatever." Yeah, it's
My-
like, I feel like the stuff is like I was able to get a little bit more of that kill by shooting that man with a grenade. But eventually I got him with my rocket launcher rather than like I pressed my ultimate button and got 3 kills.
I
Yeah,
feel
exactly. For me, it's like I play Doom Guy, right? So I'm like, oh, cool, my ult is up. It's time to go punch somebody in the face, and then like 9 times out of 10, I just die from trying to punch them in the face.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
feel like the way that most of the ultimate works, or I keep saying ultimates, the
we
active
say
abilities
ultimate.
work.
It is one active ability.
Yeah,
that somebody
I
has,
say
yeah.
ultimate because I'm used to playing MOBAs a lot, but I mean active ability. Everybody has one active ability. So the way that I kind of think about active abilities in general is like I am playing an arena shooter, and then for 15 seconds I'm doing some dumb shit. Like that's how it feels. It feels like
That's exactly
when I'm
what it
playing
is,
Doom
yeah.
Guy or Doomslayer or whatever as he's called in the game, I use his ability and then just kill maybe 1 or 2 people with his punchings. And like that is like a tiny 15-second microcosm of what the game is. When I'm playing like BJ Blazkowicz, I pull out a second rocket launcher and fuck people up for like 10 seconds. So it's like that.
It's
But-
fun because like with BJ and Doom Guy specifically, it feels like playing their own respective games. But
But the way
especially
that
because the music plays.
the way that the game is structured is still very much Quake-like. You still
Yeah.
fight over the
Yeah.
quad damage. You still like kind of a lot of times fights are centered around the rocket launcher or the heavy armor or the
Yeah.
or the big health pack. So
yeah,
it still
it's
feels
all
like
about-
Quake ultimately,
it's
and
not-
that's important.
it's not all about controlling those map objectives like other games are about controlling like the payload or something. But
Right.
it's like if you're controlling that quad damage, obviously you're gonna fucking kill some people when it spawns.
It's like
Yeah.
it feels more natural rather than
Yeah,
forced.
exactly.
So it's like people will gather around areas because that's where you do it at. Not
Yeah.
because
that's
a blip is telling you to go there.
yeah, that's where the power up is, not like that's how you win the game.
Because, I mean, you can just, like, completely ignore that stuff and just fuck off and do some stuff. You're probably going to find someone, run into them, have a great 1v1 fight, and win and or lose. Like, even if, like, the quad damage is going to come up in 3 seconds, you could be, like, halfway across the map dicking around with some other asshole. It's great.
And like what I really love about arena shooters in general is it gets you into that feeling of flow easier.
Yeah,
There's less
definitely.
time to worry about dying and standing in specific spots and doing whatever. It's very pure, spawn in, run around, find a weapon, kill as many people as you can, get killed, hit spacebar, immediately respawn, and just do it over and over again and keeping yourself in the rhythm.
It's the reason that people like shit like instant respawn 2 for it in Team Fortress 2, but like that's not fun because the game is designed around something different, and that's trying to fundamentally change the game, whereas Quake is designed around this principle. So like that's what you're supposed to do. Just respawn, kill people.
There is, however, one mode that I think the characters really hamper. I was playing the Instagib mode, which is a mode where you have the railgun, which is a kind of like a sniper rifle, sort of. I guess that's the closest way you can call it. But it shoots a laser, and in that mode, everyone dies in one hit to the laser. The problem with that mode in Quake Champions is everybody still has access to their abilities. So you can do really dumb shit, like one character can turn on, like Doomslayer can switch to that mode and just one hit everyone near them. Another character can shoot acid, and if you like barely touch anyone, they explode. And it feels like it takes you out of what that mode is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And there's some that are completely useless. Like one character has a thing where he heals and he will get more health and stuff if he continues living. Yeah, but it doesn't matter in that mode because Instagib does like 9999 damage. So like it's just that feels, it doesn't feel unbalanced so much as it feels like there's countering game design happening.
Right.
Like, and ultimately it doesn't really affect that much because it's still the same situation where like that will be a 30-second thing or like a 10-second thing every maybe 45 seconds or something. Or once a minute or something, and that'll happen depending on the character's individual cooldowns. But I don't know, it really takes you out of that mode. And that's not what that mode is supposed to be. So
So to sum it up, Quake Champions good, right?
Quake Champions is very good.
I played a few rounds and then bought the character pack, so that's how much I loved it.
Yeah, and again, important, don't rag too hard on the Champions part of Quake Champions. It's really the Quake part. Like, I know I've said that 4 times, but like I was so shocked by the fact that it did how little it mattered.
I tend not to
pleasantly.
I tend not to jump on games cases until I try them out. The only reason I wasn't more interested in Quake Champions is because I've never traditionally actually played Quake. I mainly played Unreal Tournament, so I was interested in Unreal Tournament and not in Quake. So it's not until I actually played this one that I'm like interested in it. So
and the reason I got onto it earlier is because I'm like a huge fan of all of the old games. So
I played Dooms. I played some of the Doom games, and I played Unreal Tournament, and I like a lot of the different iterations of Unreal and Unreal Tournament. I just never played Quake for some reason. I don't know.
I mean, you know, if you didn't play Quake for the campaign, there was like one really cool boss, and then that was it.
And then Quake 3 happened.
Yeah.
And then Quake 3 happened. There wasn't even a campaign.
No, that one
Like,
had a
fuck that
campaign.
shit.
People just hated it.
Yeah.
I don't think Quake 3 did have a campaign. I thought it was just. Oh,
I
unless they
feel like
released
it was opposite. I feel like it only had a campaign or something stupid.
Well, Quake 3 Arena was definitely just had like I'm pretty sure it was Quake.
Maybe it's
Quake 2,
Quake 4. Maybe I'm thinking Quake 4.
Oh,
Actually.
yeah, you're thinking of Quake 4.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
that is exactly what you're thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where they tried to turn it into Doom, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of
because at that point they had already fucked up Doom a little bit.
Yeah.
Doom 3 was a little bit. That was in the post Daikatana phase.
I feel like Doom didn't. It wasn't bad, but it kind of killed the series. Does that make sense?
Doom 3, yeah.
Doom 3, yeah.
Kinda
Yeah,
did.
it wasn't a bad game. It's just like that is not what people
What
want
Doom
or
was,
looking
yeah.
for. That's not what people are looking for when they want to play Doom.
Yeah.
They tried to turn it into more of a horror game, which it is a horror game, but I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't call any of the Dooms like horror games, especially like the old ones.
I'd call Doom 3 a horror game, though.
Oh,
and that was
no,
the
I mean,
problem.
yeah,
It was
Doom
the
3,
odd
yes,
duckling,
yes.
so.
Yeah.
But you know, rather than having horror
exemplifies
elements.
Yeah.
It exemplifies my issue with horror games too, wherein you get a gun and instantly the game isn't scary. But you know.
I don't know. Doom 3 had its moments, but gun or not, you were fighting things that were pretty scary.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
the one
that's
thing
true.
that I'm really glad that transferred over from Doom 3 to the new Doom is the design of the Hell Knight is exactly the same in New Doom as it was in Doom 3.
And the Hell Knight looks fucking dope.
Yeah, and the Hell Knight looks fucking dope.
I think they took a lot of the Doom 3 monsters over all of the good ones from Doom 3, because there were some bad ones from Doom 3, I remember, but they took most of the good designs.
Yeah, and they like the pinkies, for instance, in Doom 3 looked kind of dumb.
They looked like naked mole rats.
Yeah, they look like naked eyeless mole rats.
I don't know. I kind of like the Doom 3 pinkies, but not as pinkies. I like them as their own thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Anyway, I think that's it for games and stuff we've played.
Yeah.
So why don't we take a quick break, and then we'll come back and hit the E3 news.
Oh,
just in time, because we're having technical issues as well.
Oh no!
So we will come back at what time? What time is it? How about 4:55?
Sounds good.
All right. If I can, editing text is hard.
Yeah.
And the thing's all broken, so here we go. We will be back in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, we're back.
Welcome.
So to the second half of the show, this week we're going to talk mainly about E3, since that was a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, it happened, and we're here.
What's an E3?
All right, so you know what the
Electronic
Oscars
Entertainment Expo.
Was that movie we watched where Todd Howard said fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a couple of years ago, but he did do that this year too.
Okay, understandable.
Also, I would say the VGAs are more like the Oscars, but
Oh yeah. I was about to say, you know, the Oscars, it's nothing like that at all.
yeah, fuck the Oscars. Am I right?
Yeah, fuck the Oscars.
Yeah, fuck the Oscars.
Fuck them.
All right.
Fuck them. Anyway.
All right. E3. So I have a notepad of all of our notes, all of my notes. Boy, there's a lot of stuff.
So the first thing I want to say about E3 is one thing I was really surprised about E3 is that there was a lot of mech games and a lot of samurai games.
There was an oddly high number of mech games, and most of them looked bad to okay.
I don't remember any mech games at E3. What ones are you talking about?
That's because all of them were bad to okay.
Yeah.
I remember one mech game, and that was Metal Wolf Alpha Zero President.
Oh, you mean Metal Wolf Chaos, the fucking Japanese game where you play as President Michael Wilson and fight the vice presidents in a giant mech?
There
the coolest game ever.
There was that game. There was the game that copyright claimed our Nintendo video for some reason.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There was
instead of Nintendo, which is the part that surprises me.
There's the Archangel Hellfire one.
Yeah.
Which is a VR game, I guess. There was definitely a few of them. There was Xenoblade, if you count that one.
Yeah, okay. I definitely remember the inordinate amount of samurai games, though.
So I think probably the best conference by all accounts to us was Bethesda.
Easily.
Probably one of the most entertaining ones, but also it had the most interesting news. Stuff coming out of it.
Last year, Bethesda announced fucking absolutely nothing, and one thing that they knew would piss people off, even if it wasn't.
And Todd didn't fucking show up for that shit.
Nobody showed up for that shit.
Nobody showed up.
But at least
Pete
last year
didn't
they
even
had
endorse this motherfucking.
At least last year they had that little Nuka World thing, so that was kind of neat. This year they didn't need it though, because they brought the fucking goods.
Yeah,
I thought they had some. They had some stuff, like they had Dishonored stuff, and
I think they had
stuff last
Dishonored
year.
and the Nuka World DLC, and I think
those were the things you cared about, but they definitely had other stuff.
I didn't care.
A lot of it was
them
Wolfenstein too, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember the Wolfenstein trailer.
I'm totally willing to give Wolfenstein another chance. The second one was kind of bad, honestly. But
I've heard
the
very
first one was
conflicting
so good.
things because I've like the game. I heard the gameplay was bad, but a lot of people really liked the story,
which is weird to me because the story was really, really trash especially compared to the first one.
Well, yeah, but you and I disagree on rating from time to time, so. And even if it's dumb stupid, like dumb action movie stupid, I'm okay with that.
If it's Wolfenstein, yeah, it's like.
Well, not necessarily if it's Wolfenstein, but if it's like done well. Which
if
you
it
say
was,
it's
like,
not, but I mean,
if it was like silly, stupid, the problem is like it tries to be serious but falls on its face, or the tone is so horribly inconsistent that it like can't keep up.
Right. Well, I don't know. Either way.
Yeah, I haven't.
I'm interested in playing it eventually, but I probably won't pick it up until it's dirt cheap because I don't care about Wolfenstein that much.
But anyway, since we're already on Bethesda, why don't we talk about some of the highlights from Bethesda? I think the first and foremost highlight, we're saving the best for last. I think the first and foremost highlight,
Rage 2.
Rage 2.
Rage 2, baby.
Actually, that was what I was gonna say. Was fucking Andrew WK coming onto stage to play a song, and
everyone being like.
Everybody was like, who is this asshole? And he was just like, yeah, party! Because that's how Andrew WK is. I love him.
The funny thing about it was I think a lot of the people didn't know who he was. Or at least that's how it seemed.
Which is, like, mystifying to me because, like...
I was born in the wrong generation. This isn't Queen or AC/DC.
Yeah, like that's all I could think of. Like I don't know. Like how do people not know who Andrew WK is? Like especially
you keep saying that, but Queen is fucking good. Don't insult.
Yeah, it's
Queen.
True. No,
yeah,
it's
Queen is good.
Queen.
Yeah,
it's an insult to those people who say all music is shit.
But you know what? Though, if people say that Queen is their favorite band, that is an okay.
That's That is
an okay band to say is your favorite band. It's. I would even say it's better than the Beatles because that's like such a default answer, it hurts.
Fair enough. The problem is Queen is turning into that default answer.
No, it's still the Beatles.
But no, it's still
if it's not the Beatles, it's Led Zeppelin or Metallica. Those are the ones that is the everyone bands.
Yeah, it's true.
Even more than Queen, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
a lot, but like,
I guess I'll say Queen is the everyone band if what you're talking about is ballads because they have all the best ballads.
Yeah. There's a reason that those are everyone bands is because they have good music, but that's not the point of the joke. The point of the joke is
the YouTube commenters, the ones.
People who dismiss any kind of music.
Exactly.
Because it's not the Beatles or Queen or
Metallica. who have listened to like a couple songs on the top charts and think all music nowadays are bad. Basically, people who don't go out of their way to look for music.
Like all of the people who went to that E3 conference and were like, I don't know who Andrew WK is. This isn't Queen. Why didn't you get Freddie Mercury to perform at your E3 conference, Bethesda?
Yeah.
But that was the point.
Like I wouldn't say that. Nah.
I don't think
Let's move
Andrew WK is the best fucking musician in the world,
Oh yeah, but
like he's certainly fun to watch. A live performance by Andrew WK is like it's something special, you know. It's fun to
Yeah.
it's fun to watch. You
I mean,
know?
the nice
dude
thing
had a
about
hell of a
Andrew
lot of
WK too.
energy. I'm honestly not that big of an Andrew WK fan.
The nice
but,
thing about
like,
Andrew
I
WK
gotta give
is
it
he
to him.
actually likes video games, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
likes video
So-
games. He likes fucking everything. He's just a positive guy.
Well, no, but I mean, he's actually talked about video games he likes and stuff, and that's always refreshing because a lot of times,
Yeah.
like celebrities will kind of show up around video games, but actually not
And then
care
they
about
don't
like
know
them.
what the
really
fuck
like
they do.
possibly be dismissive of it, or
Like
it's
when
like
they had
really,
when they had a stream on Twitch of Snoop Dogg playing Fortnite, except at one point he just took his hands off the controller to
Oh,
light up a weed.
except
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg actually does play Battlefield, though.
no, yeah,
He's just probably worse at it than they wanted to display.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or he's like, I'll do it, but I'm fucking high right now, and then you're like, good enough.
They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
You're Snoop Dogg, that's okay.
It's a publicity stunt anyway.
So, you know, why don't we just talk about our favorites overall?
Okay, sure.
So that we're not just aimlessly talking about random shit.
Well, we weren't aimlessly. We were just talking about the Bethesda conference.
I was going in order of importance of the Bethesda conference.
One
Well,
thing
I don't want to break down every single conference and talk about every game that we don't care
Okay.
about.
Fair
Alright.
enough.
That's
Well,
why
maybe
I
we
was
should-
joking about Rage 2, because I don't think any
Yeah.
of us cares about it.
Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it's gonna be good. Fucking Last Rage was bad, but
I do want to start with the Bethesda conference
That's fine.
because they had
Right, yeah.
like some of the best shit. They
Yeah.
announced a new Doom game, which
Mhm.
the last Doom like absolutely fucking knocked it out of the park. That ball is unrecoverable. They knocked
Yeah.
it so far out of the park.
And
they
even if
announced
it's just
another-
like more of the same, but with like more enemies, it'll be fucking great.
Exactly. They announced another Wolfenstein, which
You know, I remember-
like, it kind of is mixed at this point. But
I remember hearing a conversation about how the people at Giant Bomb decided to score Doom, and
Uh-huh.
they were one of the few people who scored it on the lower end of the high end. Like everyone was giving it 9s and 10s, and I think they gave it like a either a high 7 or a low 9 or a low 8. And the reason why is because the for the multiplayer was a part of it, and the multiplayer was so bad that they
Oh, the multiplayer
knocked
was
points
trash.
against it. And it's like you can't just ignore a chunk of the game.
Well, and not only that, but the game was very much like when the beta for the multiplayer came out, everyone was really dismissive of it.
Yeah,
This new game
everybody
was gonna
thought that it was
fucking
gonna
be
be bad.
trash because the multiplayer was
right.
kind of fucking trash. But
Ultimately, it was
thing
one
is,
of their
the game
favorite
was
games
not-
of the year, and it won
Yeah.
awards in their Game of the Year stuff.
but
But
they
it's-
had to knock points off because of
Right.
the
multiplayer was bad.
trash.
so that's kind of a funny kind of
It-
anecdote
it
about
is-
that game.
It is a funny thought, but like the meat and potatoes of the game was
The
you know,
campaign,
Doom.
Yeah, hopefully Doom Eternal just doesn't even bother with that.
multiplayer, yeah.
Yeah, just like if you want to play Doom multiplayer, just play Quake Champions and get a Doom
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
As a
Well,
straight
if
up.
You want, listen, if you want to play Doom multiplayer, you go on to Roblox, you download Doom Roblox, and you play with 10-year-olds.
Or don't
and then
do
you
that.
can feel like you're
or
winning.
or
all the
don't. I
time.
mean, you know.
So, other than the like obvious kind of elephant in the room for Bethesda, my actual what interested me the most, I think, was the Prey DLC stuff.
yeah,
Because
that's
they
good
have
shit.
that Moon Crash mode, which is like a roguelike-esque kind of simulation style thing where you're kind of going through and sort of
It
trying to
changes
get as
every
far as
time, yeah.
possible. And as you can tell from the first section of the show, I definitely like roguelikes. So
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
so that seemed really cool.
Yeah,
And they
that
have
made me a
another
lot
like
more interested in
actual
Prey than
yeah, and they have an
campaign.
actual like prop hunt mode next summer, which seems
which is just
really,
really
funny.
cool. Like it seems funny, but it fits really well with Prey because one of the like main parts of Prey was the mimics. You know,
I don't even
So,
think
like-
it's funny. I just think it's cool. Like
yeah.
I
And
that
honestly, I feel
doesn't
like-
read as funny to me.
I was sort of cold on Prey because it was just System Shock, and it's basically just like another System Shock and
don't
it
think
was
that's
a
a bad
fine
thing.
game, but I feel like a roguelike mode would really improve the game. Like honestly, I'd be really interested to play. Like I feel like that would make the game more fun.
My problem with Prey was just bad timing. There was too much going on in that period of time, and I skipped it. So
yeah, I skipped over it too.
but I might go back to it and actually play it since this DLC and the prop hunt mode seems really interesting. And they're adding a new game plus to it, and also a survival mode DLC too. So I don't know. It seems like they have a lot going on with Prey, which is kind of surprising. With I don't think it did poor, but it seemed to do sort of mediocre sales.
It kind of like faded into obscurity.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein 2 on Nintendo Switch. Wolfenstein Youngblood, a co-op VR optional mode for Wolfenstein.
No, I think the VR and the Youngblood were separate things.
No, there was Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, which was a VR specific title, but Youngblood was VR optional, is what they said. Wolfenstein Youngblood sounds like it might be a DLC, but the one for the original Wolfenstein was a standalone DLC, so it might be similar. What I find funny about this, and the only reason I really bring it up, was because the original Wolfenstein had Wolfenstein Old Blood, which was about vampires or something, I think.
Yeah.
And this one, it's just funny to me that they came up with Wolfenstein Youngblood for this one, which is about the daughters of B.J. Blazkowicz. But I don't know, something about that just reads as really funny to me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then the other minor thing is Elder Scrolls Blades, which looks like a pretty actually cool mobile Elder Scrolls game.
Fun.
Oh, speaking of Elder Scrolls, they did announce Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah,
but like we don't know shit about nothing about it. That like it's worth mentioning that they announced that.
I don't even think. I mean, like
and they did the same
thing. Sure, they mentioned Elder Scrolls 6, but nobody thought it wasn't happening, and they've talked about how it's in like planned development. So like, that's fine. It's good that they acknowledged it, but I sort of, as someone who really likes Elder Scrolls and am actually excited to hear this news, sort of don't care.
Yeah.
Starfield was also a mention. We got a outer space teaser, and I was disappointed.
Same. I was hoping for a lot of Starfield. That was the thing.
I was hoping that would be their big thing, but apparently it was kind of Vault 76 up and down, which is fine.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's go into that. November 14th is its release date. There's a beta like next week or something for it.
Which you can get a beta key guaranteed by pre-ordering the game. However,
I think that might be the only way, because I haven't been able to find signups for it anywhere.
There was a sign up. I can find the link for you after the podcast, but there was definitely a sign up on Bethesda.net because I signed up for it hoping to get into the beta, and then they just sent me a beta key from the pre-order.
That's weird.
But I know I signed up.
I was hunting for it after E3, but
right,
like because I waited a day or two after their conference so that the website would stop being crashed. And I couldn't find a beta sign up for that. I saw a beta sign up for Elder Scrolls Blades, but I didn't find one for Vault 76. So I don't know. If one exists, we'll stick it in the show notes.
Right.
Or in the YouTube description. So
there is a lot of really cool shit about Fallout 76 that I'm super, super hyped about.
Well, why don't we go into it? Because we... at the end of the Bethesda conference video, we didn't get to actually talk about it. So why don't we talk about it now?
Well, it's actually good that we didn't get to go into it because I was hyped from seeing the trailer. Like a lot of my fears were dismissed, but it brought up other fears, right? So like, let me take for example the nukes that they showed off, right? Because they were doing like a little Vault Tech demonstration kind of animation type deal. They kind of implied that the nukes were used to nuke other players. However, they released a documentary about the making of Fallout 76, and one of the things that they said that abolished that fear for me, and I want to get this out of the way because I think that's a big fear that people are having, is that nukes are not used to grief or
not
destroy
primarily
other people's settlements. Yeah. Not at all.
No, because listen.
Yes.
So you can build your structures, and if someone destroys it or you log out or whatever, it disappears.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that you can't nuke someone's outpost and kill them the first time, because the way that it works is you kill someone and then they can kill you back, and then you can't kill each other anymore. I think.
Well,
Or
if,
something
if
like-
they
something
kill
like
you
that.
back, you can keep killing each. So that's one of the things. One of the anti-griefing things is once somebody, the first encounter, somebody can kill you and you can like fight them and shit. But if you choose not to shoot back at them, they can't kill you again because
Right.
they don't want
system.
somebody to be able to just sit there and camp you and kill you over and over again. And also, you are not, unlike other games, you're not encouraged to kill other players by being able to like steal all of their stuff after killing them, like in DayZ or Rust.
Right.
You
So
can't just steal their
what I'm getting at though is presumably you can nuke someone for the first time. They don't really lose anything, so it's not exactly griefing, but it is like you could just nuke someone to mess with them.
Right. But here's the thing. It is first off, the primary thing is that it doesn't destroy all of their shit. It damages all of their shit. Yes. So if you nuke them and then randomly they get an event where their settlement is attacked or whatever, then they're in trouble. It will kill them probably. I don't know. But they can just immediately repair all of the stuff they built. They don't have to start from the ground up, which is weird because it's a nuke. They should have to start from the ground up, but they don't want it to be a griefing device.
Right.
I was saying is you don't really lose anything, but if someone
Yeah,
is currently playing, you could fuck with someone by just dropping a nuke on where they're setting up.
Yeah.
And then they have to set up somewhere else or do something or change servers or something. But like you can't do that.
Here is the other thing, the other couple of interesting things about nukes. One, they are a gigantic fucking time investment to get. You need 5 of those codes. Those codes are end-game content that like you have to like really fucking work towards.
And with other players.
And probably
potentially
presumably with other players.
Yeah.
2 is that there are fissures in the ground which these mutated creatures come out of, like you'll see scorch beasts and death claws and shit crawling out of fissures. The nukes are in the game in order to seal those fissures up. That's what they're for. That's what the game intends you to use them for. Once you nuke that fissure, it seals it so that mutated creatures can't come up from them anymore.
That's what I was like wondering. Like, what if it wasn't just for like griefing? Then what was it
and
for?
then after you launch a nuke at a location, it creates a zone with a lot of rare materials and strong enemies, so you can create your own raid zones. So ideally, you would actually want to nuke places that are not near other players, because if other players get nuked, then they have that zone ripe for the picking. Yeah.
Unless, well, but you have to have the right equipment to even be in those zones. So if you nuked a player early on enough, then they wouldn't have the gear to go in it, so you would still fuck them up. But
it's true. Yeah. You'd mess them up a little bit.
So that's why I'm saying, like, they're not primarily a griefing tool, but I still think in a pinch it'll work.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. Now let me finish this thought, so just so that it's out there in the air, right? There's a lot of interesting stuff people are saying they plan to do. Like, you know, there's these big, basically community talking about setting up a franchise of bars where they just set up a bar and sell stuff, and you know, they like people come in, they'll trade them beer and stuff, they'll pay caps for it, and then they'll resell it, and like that kind of thing is interesting because it's just, this is what I like about it, right? Like, even if a lot of player interactions, maybe you see each other, somebody kills you, or you're like, hey man, there's Deathclaw over there, want to go fight it? And they're like, yeah, sure, that's cool. Like it'll be one of those two things, will be 90% of your player interactions, right? You'll still have that emergent gameplay that you can't get with programmed emergent AI, because you really don't know what another player is going to do. Not 100% of the time, you know?
Yeah, but I just hope that they decentivize killing each other to the extent that 90% of the time they don't kill you first.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a lot of the like from what I've heard, from what I'm seeing, there is like basically no reward for killing another player. Imagine the reason that I could think that I might want to kill somebody, other than they start shooting me first, obviously, is they are looting the same place that I'm looting, and I want to get them out of it. I'm like, I want this shit, you can't have it, right?
It did look like in the video, though, you still get some drops from other players, though.
I think it might be like generated drops because you
Yeah,
definitely
it did look
lose,
like
for
generated
sure
drops.
you don't lose anything. So, but yeah, like
my only problem with this idea of emergent like gameplay with other people doing bars and stuff is like it really matters, and like just general player economy, it really matters more how the game works than people's intentions on that front.
Yeah.
Because while it might be a fun idea if trading isn't super easy, and if it's not like the way that you go in and out of servers, like, because that's supposed to be seamless. If you aren't reliably getting into the same like servers, then it would be hard to do stuff like that. So
yeah, for sure.
So we'll see how that goes, but that does sound like it could be fun, like a fun.
That's
thing
one of
that happens.
that's one of the things that
yeah. Go.
I'll let you talk though.
Okay.
Just let me. That's one of the things that gives me hope.
Yeah, I'm hopeful.
Is that it's because of so here's the main thing that gives me hope about like all these people's big plans for Fallout 76 at least somewhat working, and it not just turning into another DayZ or Rust clone. Yeah. Which they don't want it to be. They really don't want it to be. So I feel like they're going to work against that if people start playing it like that. Yeah. But what gives me hope is that the extremely tiny server size. I mean, this game is like they said 4 times the size of Fallout 4's map, and there are what they've said is between 24 and 32 players. So like coming across another player will be rare enough that at the point where you're doing that, like you see that mountain over there, I'm gonna go climb it. Oh no, I've come across another player. Do I really want to fight this guy? Because he's probably going somewhere else.
Wasn't Fallout 4's map technically smaller than New Vegas though?
No, it was larger than New Vegas, but it was smaller than Skyrim.
Yeah.
New Vegas.
I remember Fallout 4 being really dense, but you could walk across it pretty quickly. Whereas I think it was a lot harder in other games.
New Vegas had did a good job of its map design, like feeling very expansive because every new location was like kind of different things, but it wasn't packed like Fallout 4 was. But yeah, Fallout 4 was like size-wise, area-wise larger.
Well,
but yeah, like this expansive map, you're not always going to be encountering another player. You're probably going to be doing something, like have the intention to do something when you do encounter another player. So it's not like with DayZ and Rust, literally the whole game exists just to fight other players. Like that's really the end goal, right? Like you see another player and you kill them, that's what you're trying to do. Whereas in Fallout, you're probably going over to that building to try and get some caps and loot some power armor or something, and you run into another asshole who's going over to that building to loot some power armor and caps. And are you going to want to fight each other? Do you really want to get into an engagement like that? If he does, you're going to defend yourself, but both of you might not want to, you know? You might just be like, hey, and move on. So that's the thing that gives me hope. Now, what were you going to say, Thel?
Well, I mean, yeah, the fact that they are actively developing it so that it won't be like that, definitely does give me hope, because it's like, you hear about like DayZ and Rust, like conceptually and like Ark and stuff. You hear about these and you think like, you have this concept of what the game's going to be like in your head, and it's like, and that sounds like almost like it'd be kind of cool, but then you play the game and it's like, oh, well, all right.
Another thing is like, so first of all, I like indie games. This isn't just a knock against indie games, but there are certain indie games are so ambitious that they will not compare to a AAA trying to do the same thing. This is a situation where I think something like DayZ or something like even what was that? Like even Ark, to an extent, it's like Bethesda just has a large enough team to throw at something like this that are all skilled and paid a lot of money.
For sure.
That they're just I trust them to be able to do something like this more easily than other companies.
For the online side of the game, or for the online interaction aspects of the game, the team that they hired includes developers from Star Wars Galaxies, Ultima Online, and Star Wars The Old Republic. Now, The Old Republic might be a knock against it, but Star Wars Galaxy and Ultima, like they have those two people backing it.
Yes, but I feel like that sort of thing doesn't necessarily mean much. So
Yeah.
Because you could have someone from Ultima Online who just design the sprites. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
well, and not only that, but the thing is, like, these people are being like paid to do a job to follow the like instructions of
The
what
design,
the design goal of how Bethesda
if
wants.
nothing else, you know they have the
might not have.
technical skill to make the infrastructure for it for sure.
Right.
well, I hope that it is a good iteration on something like DayZ and Rust without the focus on PvP. I do hope that, because those games would be cool if certain things were handled differently. So if I have more faith in Bethesda being able to do something like this than basically any of the other survival games I've tried. So
yeah, exactly. And it's
well, and I have a lot of faith in them just because of the fact that they said, you know, those other survival games, we want to do it different than that. We played those survival games and we had an idea in our head of what those might be like, but it didn't live up to that. So we want to do that.
we want the idea in our head, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I think both of you at one point mentioned to me Conan Exiles, and I was so burnt from Ark I didn't even want to try it, and that was supposed to be like a PvE focused thing.
Yeah.
It feels like Fallout 76 is really doubling down on the PvE focus. It's a Fallout game, except all of the NPCs that you would meet are just other players. Like that's what they want to do.
I should try Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
I'm whatever on Conan Exiles. I'm fine.
It seems interesting. I think it's still in early access, which is why I've been kind of cold on it. But
Right.
it's not a matter of not like being actively against it. I just haven't really.
Apparently, it got a lot better. Like, apparently, in recent updates, they fixed a lot of the people's problems with it, which I never played it, so I have no idea.
And I heard early on that it was good.
Yeah.
Or at least fun. It seems like it has so it has a mostly positive recent on Steam. And it's made by the Secret World developers.
Really? That actually sells me on it more than anything I've heard about it.
Yeah, actually, Conan Exiles straight up saved Funcom.
Wait a second, isn't that...
They would have gone out of business, and Secret World would have like shut down
developers.
if it wasn't for Conan Exiles.
Yeah. Cool.
And actually, it's not in early access now. I don't know if it ever was or whatever when it came out, but it's definitely out now. So
moving along from the Bethesda conference, though, is there any closing thoughts on that?
Good.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah, honestly,
about basically everything they showed.
I'm not even cautiously optimistic. I'm just flat out like, this all looks good.
I didn't use the word cautiously. I said I'm optimistic.
I know, but people like to throw around the term cautiously optimistic, and when I hear the word cautiously optimistic, I think, oh, you want it to fail. Which is not what they're saying, but it's what I feel like they're meaning.
I don't think that that's what most people mean when they say that, but it's all about context. Like, if people are saying, this looks like it's going to be shit, this looks like it's going to be shit, and this looks like it's going to be shit, but I'm cautiously optimistic, then yeah, that's what they mean. But if they're like, I like this, and I don't like this, and I like this, and I don't like this, then they're cautiously... That reads as more...
Yeah. For me, I like, if I ever see, like, especially in like the E3, these big advertising, it's like a basically show for advertisements. I'm always like, if I see something I like, I'm always like legitimately cautiously optimistic. It's like, this could be pretty good, but I don't know. This is an advertisement. I don't know. It could also be bad.
I mean, I feel like
it's like, obviously they're trying to sell you something.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to show the best parts of it.
Right, and I feel like they can win me over more with gameplay than anything else. Like that's what will push me from being cautiously optimistic to optimistic. And I felt like we saw enough about Fallout 76 that I feel optimistic about it, even if we haven't seen a ton of what the game actually is yet.
There is one thing that I have to rag on about 76. There's only one thing that I cannot stop myself.
He's old and he runs fast. And has a machine gun.
A Soldier 76. Yeah, he's just like, he just does way too much damage. No.
It counters Pharaoh.
In the trailer, I watched it like 100 times. I watched this like 2-second clip. I have no doubt in my mind that those big green dudes are super mutants.
Yeah,
because they couldn't be anything else.
Yeah.
And there is
What about
legitimately buff ghouls. They shouldn't be green. Buff glowing ones, maybe. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
that
bullshit,
idea
got
is like
fucking
fucking great.
swole.
This is how the master came up with his idea. He was like mutating into a computer, like wheeling around. He sees like these fucking swole ass ghouls running around.
He's like, holy shit,
I
yeah,
mean, some
I want
ghouls
those.
had to be
And then, like his
bodybuilders, right?
eyes just sparkle, and he's like, "This is peak humanity."
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
When
must
it
grab
comes
the
to stuff
FBA.
like that, I'm very much like, if there was a trailer that showed more clearly that was like a 5-second clip of something that could have been filler. It could have been a costume that looked wrong. Like there are other ways to explain it. So right now, I don't feel like it's clear enough to feel like that is what it is. But I will agree with you that if that is what that is, and if we see more of that, then I will be like, yeah, that's kind of dumb. And unless they come up with a really good reason to explain why they're there, like, that's
I feel
stupid.
like they can't, because like this is the main. So super mutants were created by the master on the East Coast.
Let's not go through the history, because
Sure,
honestly I don't care. It breaks
we won't go
lore.
through
That's
the
all we
history.
really need to say.
Yeah.
If they find a
breaks
way
lore
to
because
really
it's a
make it work,
prequel.
then sure. But I doubt they could find a way to work it out. I'm with you on that. But I feel like, who knows? You know?
Sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Pete Hines.
Okay.
Fairness.
Let's move on.
Don't like it. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to a different conference.
All right. Let's talk about EA's conference and the one thing that looked good. Sea of Solitude. I'm excited for this game.
Which one's
sort
Sea of
of.
Solitude?
Sea of Solitude was the one with the girl and the boat, and she was like a weird bird monster girl.
That did look
yeah,
good.
that
I'm
looks
kind of
cool.
excited for it.
Yeah. That's EA's conference, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sort of cautiously optimistic about Anthem, because I feel like they're in a position where they can't fuck up.
Yeah, I feel like
they're not allowed to fuck up again.
From what we saw last year, they iterated on it like a lot. They made it feels like almost a different game than the one we saw. Like,
I wouldn't go that
same
far.
concept.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far, because I feel like they probably showed us more about it anyway.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like, they told us more actual information about it this time. That being said, I'm gonna see it when I believe it. Or I'm gonna believe it when I see it. I do that all the time.
I don't trust you, EA.
But I feel like this is a situation where Anthem can't fail, because what will EA do if it does? Because they have nothing else.
Right. It's not Anthem. It's not Anthem can't fail. It's not like a too big to fail situation. It's
It's like
EA
can't fuck up again.
Yeah, they can't afford
Anthem
for it to fail.
Yeah.
Because other than Anthem, they don't have other than Anthem and like Battlefield, they don't have anything that's not a sports game.
Yeah.
So and Battlefront, but
But they don't have that.
how we
they
are
fucked
on
it up so
exactly
it's not even
right.
us. They fucked it up so bad. Like that's what we're saying. They can't let Anthem fuck up that bad, because if they do, they just won't have it.
Because last year they fucked up Mass Effect and they fucked up Battlefront. So like, other than Battlefield, which is their one non-sports property that isn't tainted at this point, like. And even then, like, people have been pretty down on, like, Battlefield Hardline and some of the other stuff. People were more positive on Battlefield 1, and here comes the new World War II Battlefield. So, that is what it is. But, like, Anthem kind of can't fail, or else EA is kind of, except for the ultra mainstream, who are kind of a niche, but a big niche. Like, what else does EA have other than its, like, weird indie projects? So,
for EA's sake, Anthem cannot fail.
Yeah.
Right. And I hope Anthem is good. Like, as much as I actually don't like EA as a company, I hope Anthem is good.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I get it. It's like I don't like the company either. I don't like EA as a company. I don't want to see them fail. I'm not like a lot of people. I don't want to see anybody fail. I want everybody to do good, because that's just more good shit for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to fail, but when they start fucking up really bad, it's
I'm
like,
not someone who revels in Schadenfreude.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm also not
killed
unwilling.
all of these studios, murdered them.
I'm not I'm not
deserve
one to
to
revel
die.
in Schadenfreude, but at the same time, I'm not unwilling to call people out for shitty things. So,
Right.
let's move on to.
I will see the harvest reaped.
On a similar note, let's move to Microsoft.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What did
On a similar
what did
note of,
Microsoft even have?
Oh, a bunch of shit.
Hearts.
No, I'm like looking at the stuff. First of all, what did Microsoft
got
have that
rapid-fire
nobody
shit.
else has?
That nobody else had.
I'm looking at my list. We'll talk about
Cyberpunk was the thing they had.
Cyberpunk. They had a trailer for Cyberpunk, but that we already know that's multi-platform and they're PC first. So,
Oh, you mean like Xbox? Yeah.
an online Halo. We saw a small trailer for
Possibly.
something called Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
That's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
We saw a trailer for Sekiro, which that is I
It
think
looks
is
like kind
multi-platform.
of a faster. Yeah, it looks like kind of a faster Dark Souls, and I'd be interested in that. Like my problem with like the
I don't
Souls-like
think it
games,
looks
they're
like.
kind of slow.
I don't think it looks like Dark Souls at all, honestly. But you know, like, I've probably played the most Dark Souls out of any of the three of us. So
Oh yeah.
What's it look like to
I'm
you? Then?
definitely. Sekiro was the one where they had.
Sekiro was the Shadows Die Twice FromSoft game.
Okay. I was thinking of the other samurai game.
Yeah. You were thinking of the
You're
one
thinking the
with
Sony one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah. You're right. It looks like a
So-
faster Dark Souls.
That's why we were sitting here going, okay, Dalsson.
It looks like a faster Bloodborne.
Okay. Alright, yeah, that's fine.
Well, Bloodborne
And-
was
and,
slower
yeah.
than Dark Souls, wasn't it?
No, Bloodborne didn't like it. It did away with shields, and shielding was the thing that made Dark Souls so slow. Bloodborne was all about dodging and reflexes. So
Okay.
it looked even like more intense than that. So to
Yeah.
me, so,
Okay, well, I think it looked ugly. I didn't like the art style, but that's just me.
eh.
I
thought
think
it
the
looked-
point of those games was to kind of look a little bit ugly.
I thought it looked really visceral. Like
I don't
I
think-
see why you say ugly.
Well,
I
but
just,
the thing
I kind
is,
of
like, when it comes to Dark Souls, textures aside, I don't think the like character design and monster design necessarily looked ugly. Sure, a lot of them were like literal mummies and skeleton people essentially, but like they didn't look. They looked fantasy inspired, not ugly. Whereas
Yeah, I
I
feel
think the way that they were animated and drawn just looked fucking gross. I don't
feel
know.
like maybe one of the differences is like a lot of Dark Souls enemies have that kind of design, but Dark Souls is a very much like a low gothic kind of like world, whereas Sekiro is like feudal Japan, and they shouldn't look like
it's not that. It's not that it's breaking theme, because like it's not just that one's gothic horror and one's like whatever Sekiro is. It's like the actual, I don't know, something about like the way things are rendered, it just makes it look gross. But I like there's no reason to harp on that. I'm not into it.
Yeah.
We saw Crackdown 3, which is coming out in February. And that actually looked kind of interesting, but it's another one of those things. It's like, it's been too long, Microsoft. Unless you actually show me something substantial, I'm not going to care about this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to care about this until February rolls around and I'm seeing gameplay of it.
Yeah.
So,
Was it Microsoft's conference that introduced I can't believe I'm about to say these words out loud. Was it Microsoft conference that announced a new Battletoads game?
yes.
Yes.
I can't. I'm still. That was like a week ago.
If only because
am
of
like-
the meme, I understand,
that was
but
more than a week ago, and I am like still in a state of disbelief. I don't feel that happened, but you guys are here to confirm it.
yeah,
It's written on my pad
I
here.
mean, let me
I
put it
can't
this
fucking
way.
believe that
I'm
there's
right
new
there with you
Battletoads.
about the fucking Funko Pop thing. Like,
That didn't happen.
I don't think these are-
Battletoads, I'm shocked. The Funko Pop thing didn't happen. Like that was not real.
That was just dumb.
I refuse to believe that was real.
Battletoads has the potential to be a good game. You can take an old
Oh.
game and make a good game based on an old
oh
game.
yeah.
So
Even if the
I'm-
old game was horrible.
I feel like Battletoads wrapped around, and it wasn't that it was horrible per se. It was that it was unflinchingly,
unforgivably
punishingly,
hard.
horribly difficult.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's true.
Especially if you're playing multiplayer, when
you
you
can
get
fucking
each
hit
other,
each other. Oh my god.
so it's not that Battletoads is like bad. It's just a specific kind of bad
yeah.
that almost people
it's-
like in a way.
It was the type of punishing that you expected out of an arcade cabinet that was designed to eat your quarters, not a home console. Yeah.
Except you literally, it was almost made worse because you couldn't put more money in it to make it keep going.
Yeah.
We Happy Few, that actually got some story trailer stuff, and that looks like it's shaping up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Oh, you know what? You know what's funny is that after We Happy Few's trailer came out, the only thing I saw about it was, what the fuck happened to this game?
Yeah.
But like when I was watching the trailer, I was like, I don't remember this. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, you literally did not remember
I was
it. And
like-
we were
I was like-
I wanted to strangle you because it's like, how
I was like,
how
this
is it that
game
we've
did
been
not
talking
fuck-
about it for 5 minutes and then you're like, I wonder what this game is, and we're like, Dalsson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then later on when they showed the people walking around the city, that's when it clicked, because that was the scene that they had at the previous E3 conference. But there was like zero fucking story, none whatsoever. It was just a game about running in a circle around fucking.
No, they had like 30. They had like a
London.
small intro, and then it was just that. But
Yeah.
I think what they're actually putting in is like actual stuff now.
Right.
Either way, I don't know. I don't want to. I'm trying to go through these faster, and you keep stopping me. Cuphead DLC. They're adding at least a new boss and a girl Cuphead.
A girl Cuphead.
A girl Cuphead.
Wasn't
Devil
the
May
girl
Cry.
Cuphead a ghost though?
She was a
No?
chalice.
She was Chalice.
She was a
Right,
ghost
okay.
chalice, and then now she's a normal chalice, I guess.
Okay.
Devil May Cry 5, which
Yes!
if you watched our video, I had to cover up because Capcom is shit.
Yeah. Oh my god. I can't believe there's gonna be a real Devil May Cry game. And it's so funny because like when they came onto the stage and they talked about it briefly, he was like, we want to give the fans a real Devil May Cry sequel. And like
Fuck
it was
up
just like
DMC.
it's like he acknowledged the fact that DMC existed and then in the same sentence called it not even a real Devil May Cry game.
We have one
And I
thing to say to DMC, and that's fuck
Yeah. I'm glad that Nero's coming back. Nobody fucking liked Nero except me, but I'm glad he's coming back, so that's cool. Also, I like how he has a robot arm instead of Virgil's arm.
That's cool.
And yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
Tunic was the game that I was really excited for, and this is one that I've been following for years, and I'm surprised showed up on Microsoft conference. That's kind of the diorama Zelda-like game. There was also Jump Force, another
With the
game
cute
that I
little
had to
box.
cover up because Bandai Namco is shit.
Which one was Jump? Ah,
Jump
no,
Force.
Don't remind me. I know which one it was.
Yeah, Jump Force is the Shonen Jump kind of crossover fighting game. That
It was
looks
the one
kinda
where I
interesting.
saw the Thousand Sunny in the trailer and I stood up and started screaming.
And then, yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, which probably looks like the most interesting game out of all of these, and then this one I'm most excited for at E3 entirely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cyber, and not only
See,
that,
I'm
but
not
like
as-
the little bit of information that we sort of got out of like after the conference,
Yeah,
like
the
after we got
interviews
like the
and
trailer
stuff.
and stuff. The whole thing about how it's going to be like, it's going to be a first-person shooter RPG where they're going to be leaning super heavy on the RPG. Which
Yeah,
I
it's not a
love.
first-person shooter RPG or first-person shooter RPG. It's an RPG first-person shooter.
First-person shooter. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
that I'm so down for. It looks so good.
Same.
I'm
I'm
excited.
so excited for it, and
Here's
if CD Projekt Red lets me down, it's gonna break my heart.
I don't think I feel like CD Projekt Red is the name we can trust.
No,
I
and
don't
this is
thi-
where
I
I'm
don't
at.
feel
This
like
is
CD
that's
yeah.
exactly what I mean. I am so down with it. I am expecting nothing but good things, and if it lets me down, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do.
You're just gonna sit into you're gonna sit there with like your cup of coffee, reevaluate your life, and then you're gonna be using the word
Just gonna-
cautiously optimistic the way that Dalsson means.
Exactly. I'm gonna be staring at the wall, just crying.
I'm cautiously optimistic about this game because it's gonna be shit.
So this is like the one game out of the whole conference, especially after hearing some post stuff interviews. I am like actually hyped for it. I'm super excited for it. Are you laughing at my cat sneezing in the background?
Yes, he just had like a total sneezing fit,
That
and
poor-
it was so loud it
poor
came through
boy.
your microphone. I was
does
like,
that.
Yeah,
holy
we
shit.
heard that.
Did you see him? He was in the shot. I think,
Yeah.
too,
Yeah,
I
he was
think.
like,
he's right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's where I stand on Cyberpunk real quick, though. Like, I have been hyped for Cyberpunk 2077 since they came to E3 with a logo that one man designed.
Yeah.
I mean, me too. But
so, like, that's why I wasn't, like, that's why I didn't rag on it in a good way. That's why I didn't, like, focus on Cyberpunk this year, because, like, I know it's coming out. It's being made by a developer that I really trust. I don't like The Witcher that much, but I acknowledge that the developer is a really good developer.
Well, you
so,
never
like,
played Witcher 3, right?
I never played Witcher 3.
Yeah,
or
you're one of those people who are like, I don't want to play the games out of order, even though a lot of times it doesn't matter, and in this particular case it kind of does matter, but you know, who cares?
Yeah. But the point is, like, I've been excited for it for a long time. I like Cyberpunk games. I think the developer is good at the type of game they want to make, but like, we've seen it for the past like 4 E3s, and it's like, just like I'm glad you're
But this is the
releasing
first
more
one they're actually releasing information about it, though. The other ones was a logo, and the second time it was like a
cinematic
pre-rendered,
a cinematic trailer.
Not even a
like
cinematic trailer. It was like a moving diorama.
Yeah.
Like, it was a kind of a shot of a chick getting shot by bullets and it breaking off. Like, that was literally all we got. So I don't know. This is the one we actually learned anything about it, and then there's post interviews about actually like some of the meat and potatoes of what the game is that they didn't try to
but
even
what
explain.
What I was kind of getting at is that I am less hyped for it from having seen like they've been teasing it for so long that it's like now that we're seeing it, it's like, yeah, I'm already excited for it. This isn't building up my expectations more. Whereas if I had seen this trailer for the first time without knowing that Cyberpunk 2077 existed, I would have been like way more hyped than I was.
Well, for me, I didn't get hyped at a logo, so
right.
I was like, cool, Cyberpunk stuff, but until they were actually showing and giving some information about the actual game, now I'm starting to get excited for it.
Right.
So the new Dragon Quest is coming to the West.
Dragon Quest.
New to Dragon Quest. Good.
Yes.
New Dragon Quest, which I don't think any of us really care about, but I'm not going to not mention it because people care about that.
Yeah.
Which is allowed on Steam. We didn't update that story, but we might next week because we don't have time this week.
I thought we did talk about it last time, but whatever. We'll move on. Octopath Traveler is in July.
Very, very good demo. I would recommend checking out the demo because it's free anyway. So
there's some small stuff that I'm kind of interested in, but we really don't know that much about. The Quiet Man, which was like a weird trailer. There was Scum and my friend Pedro from the Devolver Digital stuff, which we
I'm like that
really
looks
know.
really good. I am super hyped for my friend Pedro.
Which one was
that
friend
one was
Pedro?
like a 2D Hotline Miami looking thing.
Oh yeah. That one looked pretty good. I was excited. Scum is the like the 3D game that they showed off.
I don't even know. Like, I don't even know if we saw gameplay because I
think we did. I think we saw.
It looked like a bunch of pre-rendered. Like, it looked like someone was filming a bunch of stuff. So I don't actually know if there was any gameplay on that or whatever.
No.
Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I am still in a place where I'll care about it when it comes out.
Fair enough.
Skull and Bones, which is that pirate game, which we are all kind of sort of interested in.
Definitely interested in that.
Yeah.
Transference, that horror VR game. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is like Greek Assassin's Creed. It's kind of cool. Starlink, which is that Star Fox game. Not Star Fox game. Starlink, which is that toy to life thing, and it has Star Fox in it. That's coming out October 16th, and I'm actually kind of interested in that.
Yeah, I really like the toy to life thing because I like just having action figures. Like, I have fucking action figures sitting around that don't interface with games. So
do I. You kind of see some of them. And
exactly.
if it comes down to it, I'll stick a whatever Star Fox's ship is called, and I'll stick that on my mantle, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So from the PC gaming conference, I'm just gonna go through. What the fuck? Just gonna go through a lot of these quick. Satisfactory, which is that kind of Factorio style 3D game with kind of like Minecraft-y elements in it.
It was a really terrible fucking battle royale that looked exactly like PUBG that we all made fun of.
Yeah,
but
Paladins
was
Royale.
like
But
3
I mean,
years old.
Maverick's Playgrounds, which I in fairness, I feel like if its shooting mechanics are good and it runs better than PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, then I would play it over that. So you know,
I mean,
it's not like it can't usurp anything.
Yeah.
The Sinking City, which is that really cool Cthulhu-inspired kind of detective game looking thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that one looked really good.
And that had some really cool horror elements in it too. So I dig it. Man Eater, which is that shark game.
Ah, yeah!
Shark
I
ARPG.
From the creators of Depth. You remember all that shit where you played as a diver and nobody liked it and everybody just wanted to play the shark? Well, we gave you a game where you just play the shark.
I think a lot of people liked it. I think I didn't like it.
As a diver. Yeah.
I didn't like playing as a diver. Diver was fucking shit.
I didn't mind playing as the diver, but it felt like it was unbalanced in a way that I don't know. I feel like a lot of those games where there's one like a lot of asymmetrical games just have not
gone through the work to balance it.
Yeah. I think part of the problem
out.
is I was in like the top 100 sharks ever in the game, and I would always pick shark, so it was a little unbalanced that way.
Us.
Well, I don't know. Bravery Network Online, which was that Scott Pilgrim looking turn-based fighting game or something.
Yeah, that was weird.
Morningstar, which is that like farming sim, but you're also in a dark room with a computer. Maybe
that was what the trailer showed. We have no idea what it is.
From the trailer, it gave me a vibes of. I think I said this already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip it, but it gave me a vibe like it's not a farming sim. Farming sim was just like the thing that they showed to be like
it's a farming sim designed by Banksy.
Look, it's dystopian.
Yeah.
There was that Jurassic Park sim.
Yeah, which is
out
for a while.
Which is out
now. Yeah.
It's not. It has not been on Steam for a while. Actually, it's not the game called Jurassic Park. It's Jurassic Park Evolution. It's a different game.
No, yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's been on like
Jurassic World Evolution.
Yeah, Jurassic World Evolution. That's what I mean. Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
It straight up has been on Steam, and I've been looking at it a little bit. It came out like immediately when the trailer dropped for E3.
Okay.
Well, let's move on. There's Sable, which is that Journey-esque game that was supposedly inspired by what's it called? Miyazaki films, except the only thing that we could really pull out of that was it sort of like the speeder bike looked vaguely inspired by Nausicaa, so maybe that's where the inspiration is at.
Which is a Miyazaki film that I feel like 90% of people who think of Miyazaki wouldn't even know about.
Right, but we were sitting there and they were talking about how it was inspired by Miyazaki, and we were like, not the art style.
Yeah,
the art style
when
looks
they
like an
say
80s comic.
Yeah, when they say inspired by Miyazaki, do they mean inspired by anime at large?
Yeah,
because
so
it doesn't even look like that.
We were kind of in a weird position with that, but that game looks cool. It looks kind of Journey-esque.
Really good,
yeah, it does look neat.
Genesis Alpha 1, which is that game that looked like a kind of space station sim where you went down on the ground.
Yeah.
I was excited about that one.
That one looks kind of cool.
Build a space station.
I'd like to see what that turns into, but I mean, so many games have tried stuff like this and been awful, so I don't know.
Good.
Yeah. The Walking Dead by Overkill.
Yeah.
Which I think that is all you need to say about that.
Yeah.
Noita.
Overkill.
Do you remember what Noita is? This is like the one game I have written down that I don't remember what it's called or remember what it was.
I don't remember. Let me see.
I don't either.
So while you're looking that up, 2 Point
Hospital.
Hospital.
Okay. Noita was the one where the roguelite that was set in a world where every pixel is physically simulated.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
you wrote that down
okay.
is because Thel and I were both talking about that simulation game where you just pour pixels onto lines.
Right.
Yeah.
And it looks vaguely similar to Terraria, so if you're interested in that, that's Noita. Let's just move on. 2 Point Hospital, which was that kind of Sims-esque like hospital simulator.
Yeah, it was like Sim Hospital 2, except instead of Sim Hospital 2, it was Sim Hospital 2, but it's fucking ridiculous.
Hell yes.
And then we got some Hitman and Anno, which I don't think we care about that much.
Nah. Hitman could be cool.
My favorite games from the PC conference and E3 was Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord and Scorn.
Yep, those two things that did not show up.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last one that we got is Sony, which was pretty middle of the road. We got Last of Us Part 2, which looks really interesting.
Which looked actually really, really good, yeah.
It looks interesting, but it's Last of Us, so I expected it to be exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Twin Mirror, which was that game that I think it was... Oh yeah, that was like a super brief like cutscene trailer, which is like kind of almost what dreams may come looking thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ghost of Tsushima, which was that really long samurai game that they showed.
That was the one that I thought you were talking about when you said
it
it was Dark Souls but faster, and I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
You understand why I would think that.
Yeah.
I would say, what the fuck did that?
Yeah. I mean, you should have realized that that was Sony, but, you know.
Yeah, I should have.
Yeah, that game looks really interesting. I might pick it up. Seems cool.
I wanted to say something about that. When they were playing that woodwind instrument, I was ragging on him like they just got a white dude and stuck him in Japanese clothes. I actually learned, interestingly enough, that the reason that they got that guy is because he is one of the like 5 people in the world who is considered a master of that instrument he was playing.
Yeah.
So
he was actually kind of a big deal.
He was actually a really good choice, and he was like kind of a big deal. Yeah.
And I saw people ragging on him for being white too, and it's like, talking about how he was whitewashing and like.
Well, I wasn't on like the whitewashing.
Oh yeah, no, I know you weren't saying that, but I saw other people saying that, and it's like it was just kind of funny because they were ragging on him for that, and it's just like, no, this guy's actually like a big deal, and he's respected in Japan for this. So like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't know that when I was ragging on him. I just thought it was funny that he.
You made
like
fun of his sandals of all things.
Yeah, I was like, that's funny. He's just like in Walmart Japanese clothes, but no.
So another game is Control.
So I apologize to that man.
Control, which is that game that looks like, or that was by Remedy, and I thought it looked similar to Quantum Break, but I think at one point we saw stuff about Quantum Break, and then when Quantum Break came out, it had nothing to do with that stuff that we had seen about it. And now that Control is coming out, this stuff seems like the thing that was originally Quantum Break. So this Control game was kind of like very... I think you were at the bathroom or something during this part, though. But it was kind of looked inspired by kind of Inception or like, you know, sort of like folding cities and like kaleidoscope kind of visuals of like physics kind of bending.
And from the gameplay, it looked like a third person kind of third person shooter with powers. Yeah. Maybe something like Psyops Mass
or
Effect.
Or
like
although it did look tighter. It did look tighter than Mass Effect.
Certainly tighter than Mass Effect. That's why I was really apprehensive to say Mass Effect, because it looked like the powers.
It looked like biotic powers from Mass Effect, but actually it looked tighter. But I didn't play Quantum Break because they had weird stuff going on with Windows Store, so I don't know. Resident Evil 2 remake. This is coming out January 25th. I am really excited for this because it looks super good.
I mean, it's gonna be super good. It's just Resident Evil 2. Like, you already know it's good. You played it before.
That's not a... That's not a foregone conclusion, I think, but... But in the past, they've done good remakes of other ones, so...
Yeah. Well, what makes it look good other than the fact that it's Resident Evil 2 again?
I think they're, like, completely reworking, like, the combat system and everything.
The combat system and the atmosphere of it looks darker and more, like, horror-themed, which it did in its day, but it was... one of those things that just didn't age well, where now we can sort of have a Resident Evil 7-esque look at Resident Evil 2, which is a super cool idea.
Yeah, I completely agree.
That's fair.
Yeah, and Resident Evil 2 has one of the best stories out of all the Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
Even better than Resident Evil 7, because while Resident Evil 7 was really cool, its story was like whatever.
Yeah.
It was kind of just a dude gets stuck, and I don't know. Resident Evil, I don't want to rag on Resident Evil 7. It was cool, but
it's dude gets stuck in redneck murder family house, which is great, but the problem is like the story was very sort of, it didn't need to be a Resident Evil game.
Right.
It was disconnected from Resident Evil.
Yeah, until like
which
really
I mean I
close to
kind
the
of
end.
liked.
Yeah, I didn't mind that, but yeah, Resident Evil 2 is like, I don't know, the peak of classic Resident Evil.
Yeah, the definitive classic Resident Evil.
Yeah, I like. So I don't want to. I mean, because people want to say 4 is the peak of Resident Evil, but 4 is such a different game than the classic Resident Evils that they're almost like separate things.
Yeah.
Which every you notice that every few years Resident Evil has to completely remake itself to like be relevant again.
Yeah.
Because this Resident Evil 7, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like the 3rd time they did it.
Yeah. I mean, again, at least they're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not just letting the series die.
Yeah.
Trevor saves the universe, or Trover saves the universe, which is that
Trevor from
Wait,
Grand
I
Theft
was
Auto
I was
saves the
imagining
universe.
I was imagining Trevor from Grand Theft Auto just driving around in a truck through the fucking space.
Right. But actually it's Trover, and it's from the one of the guys who I forget his name from Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah.
The good one.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind. I don't even give a shit about this game. I'm like very.
It was the good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean Justin Roiland is
Justin
the good
Roiland, right.
like one. Like I hate Dan Harmon. I think that he fucking shits on everything that he touches. But yeah, I mean, this is Justin Roiland, but I don't know.
I don't have anything against Dan Harmon or Justin Roiland. It's just this game looked to me like why make it Trover saves the universe, and why not just make it Rick and Morty the video game? Because that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Because they already made one of those, and also licensing is probably easier when you are making your own thing.
Justin Roiland owns Rick and Morty.
Well, they still have deals with Cartoon Network.
Yeah, they still have to license that out.
and
Not only
Swim.
that, they already made one of those, and this is like a second game that Justin Roiland did. Because he did another one that was like a VR game.
Okay. Like
by all accounts, that was a good one though.
Logistically, I know why not just make it Rick and Morty the video game. I meant thematically. If you look at it, it's just fucking Rick and Morty the video game.
But it allows them to take more liberties with the universe, whereas Rick and Morty was sort of grounded in real life, even if it is what it is.
Yeah.
Either way,
Thanks, Dan Harmon.
This is one of those things. This is a place where I just have no experience because I haven't watched Rick and Morty and I don't really care about it. And I kind of like the guy Justin Roiland. I kind of like Justin Roiland as a voice actor, but I don't really know that much about his style of humor in general. So this is kind of whatever for me. So I'm kind of interested. I'll see what it is when it turns into a game. But you know.
Yeah, as it was like a 2.5 minute Rick and Morty universe short.
Yeah. And Justin Roiland is one of those guys who is like an internet success story where he was like started out as an internet animator and then like got his own show. And you know, that's great. I'm really happy for him. I remember that motherfucker when he was doing fucking House of Cause.
Do you remember when he was the Blitzball from
Yes, I do, from fucking Lawbreakers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have like 11. I checked. I had like 11 hours in Lawbreakers.
They even tried to lean into it harder in the in one of the updates, and it just that still did not make anyone interested in it.
The problem is like Blitzball was one of the worst modes.
Yeah, and they really forced you to play it, and everybody kind of hated it. I didn't mind it. I liked it, and we were good at it. But the consensus was people hated Blitzball.
Yeah.
So. You know, I would have thought he did something before Adventure Time, but as far as voice acting goes, other than his own stuff, the Earl of Libbengrab was his first role.
Yeah, that's cool.
Interesting.
And then we got a big trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3, and this one's the good one because they showed us a lot of actual gameplay and like Pirates of the Caribbean stuff and all sorts of weird stuff. And
how the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff just looked like Black Flag gameplay.
That was funny as hell.
That was like fucking hilarious because they had also just shown off that like
Skull and Bones.
The day before they had shown off Skull and Bones. So like
So that was just funny. I'm really excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, and they did a release date of January something. late January.
I'm super excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, but my problem is I'm not gonna play it because they're not releasing it on the PC or Switch. So
just buy a PS3 or PS4, you bitch.
It's
They're only like $300.
Dude, that's like $100 more than I just spent on Fallout 76.
I know.
I can't afford that.
And that's exactly how much you spent for a Switch. So just buy one already. Jeez. Play Last of Us.
I'm all over spending $5 for a video game.
And you're like, oh god, do I really want to do this? I'm gonna have to convince my friends to play it with me to get any value out of it. Whew.
They'll calm down. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, Thel's gonna play Quake Champions with or without us.
It's true.
Death Stranding.
Yeah!
So, for me, this was more disappointing than the previous one. I thought the previous Kojima short film was much more interesting. This one was a lot of walking.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I really liked about it, because it looked like the walking was actual gameplay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
but not interesting
still wasn't
gameplay.
Anything substantial, yeah.
It was gameplay for sure, but not super interesting gameplay. I think the one breakout part that was the most interesting was when he was actually like walking and hiding from the things that were spooky.
Yeah.
But like really, I would have rather they actually gone into heavy gameplay or just done a really weird Kojima short film. It was kind of in the middle for me where it was like I didn't think it was bad, but I would have rather had something else, I guess.
Here's something really interesting though that I've seen. I don't know all the full details on it, but I think there was a woman wearing a necklace that had these weird beads, and it's gone over.
Can we not go into Death Stranding random ass theories, please?
It's not.
That wasn't like a theory. That was
not theories. It is flat out an augmented reality game. There's no theory about it. There is an ARG in that trailer. And essentially,
I don't give time of day to ARGs because fuck ARGs. Let's move on.
That was the entirety of fucking Metal Gear Solid 2.
That was not what. No, it wasn't an ARG. It was a fucking hoodwink. It was Kojima tricking everyone. That was not an ARG where you have to but outside of the game figure shit out. I don't care about that shit. They're all terrible. All ARGs are terrible.
I love ARGs. We're gonna have an ARG battle.
No.
Okay, go on.
Neo 2. It looked cool.
Might be fun.
I didn't play Neo 1.
It's one of those games that I like. Oh, I'll get around to playing.
You know, Neo was the original Samurai Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Samurai Dark Souls. I'm imagining Samurai Jack and Dark Souls mashed up, you know. And
yeah.
Spider-Man.
Oh fuck yes. We've been waiting so long for a good Spider-Man game that captures the old Spider-Man game's feelings.
I like that it had a lot of gameplay.
It does. Yeah.
You know what I kind of don't like, the more that I've thought about it, though? So I like that they anchor the spider web on real objects, right? I think that's cool. I don't like that it shows a reticle for it all over the place. I'd rather they just hide that. In fact, I hope that they give you lots of options to hide HUD elements, because I don't like when stuff is too busy, and that's a little cursor moving all over the fucking place. I don't give a shit.
From what I was seeing, like correct me if I'm wrong, but it didn't look like the swinging portion had the reticule for it. It only looked like when he shot it out
definitely
to pull
had
himself
it
forward.
definitely had the reticule every time he was swinging.
Because I definitely remember the reticule. Like there was two types of movement. He would swing off a point, and then he would pull himself forward.
Like you didn't need to
the reticule for that, right?
You didn't need to interact with it per se. Like you didn't need to pay attention to the reticule the whole time. And if the reticule was actually if you were anchoring to something outside of your screen, it would just not show up because it would be too high. But anytime you were below a ledge or something, there was always a reticule that would jump from point to point of where you would be swinging. There were also reticules in the beginning, when you were aiming where you're going, but that was not what I'm talking about. Right. So I don't know. I just think the HUD's a little busy. But it was cool to see a lot of gameplay.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for this game.
The gameplay looked pretty good.
This was my favorite game from E3 last year.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where I just want to play it.
Yeah, me too, man. I want to play it. I remember like spending countless hours in the old ass. I don't even know what fucking Spider-Man game it was. I was a kid,
Spider-Man,
so
Spider-Man 2.
probably. Yeah.
probably Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
Spider-Man
But,
2 was the first open world game.
I remember playing multiple open world Spider-Man games.
Spider-Man 2 was the first one.
It was probably Spider-Man 2 then. And I remember liking all of them. But like at the time, of course. But in hindsight, it's like moon swinging, that's fucking dumb. Why would you shoot a whole web to the moon just to swing through Central Park? No, fuck that. But like everything about this, like it addresses all of the like nitpicks that people have had with the old Spider-Man games and iterates on them and improves them. Just from the small amount of gameplay we've seen, of course. It's never to say too early, but
yeah.
I liked Ultimate Spider-Man the best, even if it had moon swinging, because while the swinging was less fun than it was in Spider-Man 2, you got to play as Venom and beat people up.
yeah.
Moving on. Nintendo. So we got Mario Party, which is October 5th. That seems fun.
Yeah.
Overcooked 2, which seems super cool, and that's also going to be on Steam and stuff.
Play as Cooking Mama.
They didn't confirm that. We'll have to see.
Well,
probably
so.
the most important news of the entire conference, Holobug is going to be on Nintendo
Oh
Switch.
yes, and also Cooking Mama.
Actually, it is
Smash.
already. You can buy it now.
I was gonna say I'm fairly certain we already knew that, but that was important news.
We knew it was coming out, but the important news is it's coming out tomorrow, bitch. When the E3 conference came out, so it's out now.
So there's Xenoblade DLC or a new game or something. I don't know anything about Xenoblade.
I'm pretty sure it's a DLC, but I don't know.
And then I'm just going to go through a bunch of ports real quick. Dragon Ball FighterZ, Ark, Fortnite, Minecraft. Okay, moving on.
Minecraft. Oh yeah, that's right. I thought Minecraft was already. Oh, whatever.
They announced
I thought
it, but
last
they didn't.
year they announced it, and they said
They announced
play
it when the
Minecraft.
Switch. They announced it when the Switch came out, but they never actually got it out yet.
It was
So
like, you can play Minecraft better looking on any console ever, and then they like the textures were like 2 pixels wider, and it was like, wow.
It's me, Mario. It's me, Minecraftio.
basically, they just fixed up the skybox. That's all they really did.
Yeah.
They showed some gameplay for Fire Emblem Echoes,
Pretty cool. It looked
which
cool.
I'm really
I
like.
like Fire Emblem.
I'm excited for that. I've been playing so much of that fucking mobile game. It's not even funny.
I like the concept that the armies are clashing. Like this was always the concept of Fire Emblem, was a bunch of armies clashing, but it never really did anything about it. I like
it
that
only
it
ever
shows,
showed
like,
the most important people because
Yeah,
that was kind of what was the most important.
that was what was
Other
about
than,
what Fire Emblem was about.
Maybe Fire Emblem Warriors. They probably had armies in it,
Yeah.
and you
But-
slaughtered armies too.
Oh yeah.
Actually, probably
like,
quite similar. Isn't it?
Thematically, I like that you are like shown 2 armies clashing instead of just one. Like game functionality wise, it makes no difference. But I like it from a theming standpoint. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I looked up the release date, but it doesn't look like I'm looking at the right one. So because supposedly it came out last year, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's a port of a 3DS one of Fire Emblem Echoes. I don't know. Whatever the case, it looked cool.
Yeah.
And then the big Nintendo news, Smash Ultimate, which will have every character, including all of the weird side ones like Rob,
And
Solid Snake,
Cooking
Rob,
Mama.
Solid Snake.
Cloud,
Ice Climbers.
Bayonetta.
Ice Climbers is a big one for me because I was really disappointed when they didn't. I liked Ice Climbers in Melee. I was really disappointed when they didn't bring them back for 2 games in a row.
Okay, now
because of engine
by
limitations.
liked Ice Climbers, did you ever actually play Ice Climbers, or did you like that they existed in the game?
I played Ice Climber sometimes.
I played Ice Climbers sometimes.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, I like that they existed in the game, really.
Yeah.
And they were like, you can't have 2 characters because of engine limitations. Oh, by the way, here's Olimar who has all his Pikmin. But you can't have multiple characters that follow each other around. But here's Olimar. And Louie. So, like, it didn't make sense to me.
But they were like duplicates, though, the same way.
Yeah, I guess.
They were more
just-
like
they were
their
just
own
like
thing.
way-
Yeah, I don't know. whatever. You know, they also said Ripley was too big to be in the game, but look at where we are now. Ripley is in the
Ridley,
game.
you mean? And he's still too big to be in the game because they released one new character. It was Inkling, and that was it.
Hey, excuse me, Daisy. You motherfucker.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did. They announced Daisy as well instead of Princess Peach.
I saw probably the best joke about this was I don't know nothing about Star Wars, but the girl who plays the main character in the new ones has a name that is two characters that ain't never gonna be in Smash.
What was her name?
Daisy Ridley.
Are you kidding me? Is her name really Daisy Ridley?
Yes.
Holy shit.
You know, I kept saying Ripley, and now I want Ripley from
Aliens
to be in Smash. Yeah. You know, when that scene was happening,
I think they'll get around to adding her right about when Goku gets in.
You know, the scene where Ridley was like introduced. I was like, you know, people are like, because it had Samus and stuff in it. Yeah. I was like, people are expecting it to be Ridley, but what if it was just a Xenomorph at this moment? How funny would that be?
Xenomorph.
I was like I remember during the conference, I was like, oh, they're introducing a new fighter. There's gonna be there's like 100 million people it could be, but it's not gonna be Ridley. I guarantee you that.
I saw the motherfuckers on like the Metroid ass fucking walkway. I was like, don't.
Yeah. Well,
Dalsson,
it was before. It was before they showed the big walk. I think I made a joke, but you guys both missed it. They were on that like big circular room with the bridge, and Samus and Kirby and somebody else was there.
It was
and I was
Mario
like,
and Mega Man.
I was like, no, it's not gonna be Ridley. Look at the scenery. It's Kylo Ren is gonna be in.
Yeah, no, I did.
I remember that joke. I just thought it was dumb.
It was the exact same fucking scene, but like, honestly, at that point when Samus was in the lead across that Metroid-looking area, it was like, okay, they're actually going to do Ridley, and I'm kind of shocked. I can't believe it. And then when they showed it was Ridley, I still couldn't believe it. Because Sakurai himself went on record saying that he was not going to ever put Ridley in Smash.
So Super Smash Bros. 4 was the first game to have DLC characters in it, right?
Yeah.
Now, this game was the first, or like has all of the characters from previous ones plus 2 new ones. And then some Echo characters, which are like alternate versions. Do you think that they are planning on having DLC for this one too, or do you think this is them actually saying we're done with Super Smash Brothers? This is like the last one.
I wouldn't doubt if they had DLC characters, but so like this isn't a definitive answer for me, but I feel like this is like their last hurrah. They're like, look, we have every single fucking character,
including the meme one you wanted.
Yeah. You motherfuckers.
We have every single character. We have the character from Nintendo's newest IP, and we have fucking Ridley, who you have literally been asking for since we announced that Smash Bros. Melee was coming out. This is it. This is Smash Bros. That's it. This is the last game. That's what I feel like they're saying. But you never really know, you know?
It felt like that is what they were getting at as well. That being said, they might still do DLC because that's not like there are more characters you could figure out to add. It's not like every character is in it.
There's plenty more characters. People are saying shit like King K. Rool. Like, they're sad that there's no King K. Rool, which I don't think they'll add because he's owned by Rare, which he is the crocodile in Donkey Kong 64.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then like,
well, excuse me, Donkey Kong Country came there first.
Oh yeah.
The final boss in Donkey Kong Country. Yeah.
Then he wouldn't be Rare. True. Then he would be Nintendo.
Yeah, he isn't. That's right.
No, that was still Rare.
Oh.
But Nintendo owns Rare, or Nintendo owns Donkey Kong, but Rare owns Donkey Kong Country's characters.
Okay. Well, anyway, I don't know. I think they could, but at the same time, I think Sakurai finally wants to just put Smash behind him.
Yeah, he wants.
His whole life has been broken because of this video game.
Yeah. Like, remember Kid Icarus Uprising? Neither does anybody else because it came out before Smash Bros. And then Smash Bros. Came out.
I remember that game being kind of popular at the time.
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I just don't remember it. Or I don't remember people talking about.
Well, the only reason I think I'm aware of it is because it had a bunch of characters that they put in that following Smash Brothers, like
Yeah, exactly.
like
Palutena.
Palutena and Kid Icarus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was before Brawl, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, that was yeah. It came out.
I
like,
find
right
it
before
funny
Brawl,
that there are 3 characters in the game who are actually angels, and then as DLC they added Bayonetta.
Yeah.
um,
We need someone to stand up to these guys. Here's our girl.
they need to put Spyro in it. Crash
Yeah.
Bandicoot in it.
Yeah.
He was on Nintendo console at one point.
I think he's gonna be on the Switch again.
But then what would Sony All-Stars Smash Brawl Fight Battle have?
Nathan Drake.
Monster Hunter now? Who I've been asking for in Smash since
Ellen
Melee.
Page.
Ellen Page.
Ellen Page.
Yeah. Ellen Page, nude model.
Okay.
David Cage himself shows up as a fighter.
Well, I know that it's not the same voice actor, but I was basically joking about the main character from Last of Us,
Yeah, yeah.
Ellie. Anyway,
It wasn't Beyond Two Souls. I was on the PS3. Good.
So that was E3. It has been
That was
exhausting. I am so glad that I'm not editing 14 hours of video. Time to end this podcast and then edit this video.
Yay!
Yep.
So we have some announcements that we want to get through.
Oh boy.
We have a whole week of E3 coverage, so if you want to go back and check out some of that, please do.
I have an Incredibles video that's up right now.
Oh shit, I forgot to talk about Incredibles too. I'll talk about it next week.
I'll see it next week and
yeah,
we'll talk
so then
about
we'll
it.
talk about it. That'll be good. What else? We have a new Discord server.
Yeah. We haven't linked it to anyone yet.
We will put a link to it in the description of this YouTube video, and it'll be the first time it ever
appears.
Yeah.
Hooray!
So all 50 of you that watch your podcasts to the very end,
Wow, we got
go ahead and look.
50 now? Goddamn.
I don't think 50 people watch all the way through the end. I don't think I don't think 5 people watch it all the way to the end. But you know, in case you're listening, thank you.
We have a Discord
Anyway.
server.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a Discord server. That will also put the link to that in Dalsson's Twitch channel.
Yep.
Pretty soon here. I'm gonna start streaming too, but I don't know how much I'm gonna do that or if it's gonna be a regular thing or not. I haven't really gotten into it and decided that much about it, but I will put it in there too probably.
Yeah.
Put your channel in the description.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna start streaming for Twitch. But like I said, I don't know how regular it is or if I'm gonna actually keep with it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because the more that I think about it, the more I think I need a real job.
Yeah, you know.
And
that's
with
why
that,
I don't stream on Twitch more. So.
And with that, I think we're gonna leave you. And as always, remember,
Stay beautiful.